Timothy Bradley, Paulie, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fans want to see.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
All right, we live in HD. Yeah, this your boy Zone 6 coming at you with another video. Feeling good, feeling great today. Straight off the temple, no pad or pencil. Live in HD from the East Side Palace. Y'all make sure y'all tune in a little bit later. We're going to heat this motherfucking day up today. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give y'all a response to 78 Sports TV live in HD. It's a good question that he posed, and we're going to cook on it, and I'm going to just add to the table. I'm not going to take away from what he think and what he said, but if you haven't subscribed or you haven't looked at it or you don't look at it, do me a favor and go over there and look at his most recent video about the three ducks and what he is offering as information from his perspective. But the heavyweight division is an awesome division, and most of us are enjoying it. So I'm going to break down my perspective on the information that has been provided across the plains of the heavyweight division. Also, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, the debate with me and Get the Smoke will be going down. I got Jack Johnson, which is the guy featured in my avatar photo right now, and he has Rocky Marciano. This is a legacy debate. So let's go ahead and get down to the meat and potatoes of the information provided by 78 Sports TV about the heavyweight division. This is a good topic because it provides us with something else outside of just the normal, the cliche topics. So let's go ahead and break this down. First off, I've already made it clear, and I've already given you guys my history that I like Deontay Wilder as the best heavyweight physically within the division. I had that pick since 2013. I had Deontay Wilder as the best when it wasn't cool to have Deontay Wilder as the best. I had Deontay Wilder the best when Tyson Fury was on cocaine and wasn't sure. It was pretty big and goofy to me, in my opinion, at the time. I had Deontay Wilder as the best when Anthony Joshua was collecting all the belts and people were saying that he's undefeated and he's beating undefeated fighters and he's the next big thing since sliced bread. Okay? So I've been rocking with picking Deontay Wilder against everybody at the heavyweight division except Tyson Fury 2 and Tyson Fury 3. Okay? I rock with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 1. I suspected that he would have knocked Tyson Fury out because I just felt that Tyson Fury was extremely goofy, lanky, dangly, and just not sharp enough to be counterproductive against the right hand of Deontay Wilder. Unfortunately, it ended in a draw. Now, I've already given you my perspective and my history on that. Once I seen the post-fight interview from the draw, from the first fight, I looked at Tyson Fury and his enthusiasm to improve. I didn't buy into the cultural aspects of either boxer, I didn't care. Just looking at their mannerisms and their postures and the stuff that come out of their mouth from a fighter's perspective. Because I understand that your culture, your wife, your kids, your friends, naysayers, dick riders, all those people can be distractions from what you may need to improve on to get your goals achieved. I just felt like overall, player to player, pimp to pimp, I just felt like Deontay Wilder didn't show me enough of that for me to ride with him into the second fight or the third fight as a person who could win the fight. Now, was I rooting for him in spirit? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Didn't want to see Tyson Fury beat him. I wanted to see Wilder beat Tyson Fury all day, every day. But unfortunately, when you move your emotions to the side and you kind of go logically, and I'm taking down the rooting banner based on what I seen from Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, that led me to believe that Tyson Fury was going to whoop Deontay Wilder within the next two fights. And he did that. So now we're here with the aftermath of the results of that fight. Now, we have to be honest about some things. I understand that it can be frustrating if you're a fan of Deontay Wilder. It can be very, very frustrating. It's always unfortunate and frustrating when your favorite fighter drops one, right? Let alone drop two. And especially if it's under the conditions in which Wilder and Mark Breland threw in the towel. There's an issue there, right? It's not kind of how you want to see it go. Okay, that's understandable, but that's what your team is there for. And if you and your team is not on the same page and your corner is not on the same page, I can understand y'all having to part ways. Okay? The second loss, the third fight, resulted in Tyson Fury just really dismantling Deontay Wilder. It got worse. The beating got worse. And it was probably knockout of the year, or at least should have been knocked out of the year, because Wilder was face down, ass up, man. I mean, I haven't seen a knockout that vicious on that level since Pacquiao Marquez. We just got to call it what it is, whether you want to believe it or not. That's not to say that Deontay Wilder won't beat the dog shit out of everybody else, because I believe he beats everybody else except Tyson Fury until he beats Tyson Fury. I do believe that AJ has a level of protection when it comes to Wilder. There is a weird dynamic with the conversation about Wilder and his resume and what he hasn't done. Well, he fought Ortiz twice. He fought Tyson Fury 3 times. He fought Stavern, and he fought Helenius. And he's trying to get in the mix with Usyk and Anthony Joshua to complete his run. I mean, Joe Joyce just fell on his own sword. Maybe Deontay Wilder can look at other options. Maybe Deontay Wilder can look at Andrew Ruiz. I'm not sure what it is that Deontay Wilder can do. But I also believe that Deontay Wilder needs to stay active. And I understand that Usyk and AJ and, Fury may be on your heart. But you got to calm down, man. You got to relax. You're running into a burning building, dude, without the proper PPE. Wilder has to slow down and relax. It's just my suggestion, but he grown, he can do whatever the fuck he want to do. I wouldn't say under any circumstances that at this current moment that Wilder is not getting a fair shake. I mean, it could always be, because you got a lot of political elements within boxing and worldwide. This is a global sport. Sanctioning bodies could be in on it. Channels could be in on it. Nations could be in on it. I get that. That's fair, because I don't know. I can't vouch for anybody. But what I can vouch for is myself. And here's the reality of it. Wilder got his ass whooped. We have to start with that and let that sink in. And I don't think that most Wilder fans have let that sunk in. You guys won't let the shit go. He lost. No, stop. Let that sink in. He lost. There is no buts, if, ands, or maybe. On record, on deck, he lost. This is not to be conflated for identity politics. We're talking about hands. Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury is in a position where all he needs to do is beat Usyk and AJ. Tyson Fury don't have to backtrack and fight Deontay Wilder. He fought him for 3 fights, and he beat him twice, and he stopped him and separated himself from Deontay Wilder. So Fury is not being protected or ducked. And he's not ducking anybody. That's just what I see. I think Fury is cleaning up, doing what he does. He's still an idiot. He's still a fool. Do I think he's a cool guy outside of that? I don't know the motherfucker. I don't care to know him personally. I don't care to know any one of these guys personally, to be honest with you. But when I'm looking at boxing and observing boxing from my perspective and from a holistic collective point of view, when I see Wilder, I see a guy who's capable and able, but I just don't see how Fury is in the mix with not being willing to fight Deontay Wilder or engage Wilder. He did 3 times. Now, Usyk and AJ, I can understand it because it's my opinion that, and I said this and I'm on record, Wilder beats everybody viciously outside of Tyson Fury until proven otherwise. I think Wilder got something going. I think he just needs to continue to headline his events and continue to get in the ring and fight. Wilder got vicious knockout power. Wilder's knocking people out probably in less than 4 rounds. When you look at the heavyweight landscape and you take Deontay Wilder, you take Fury, you take Usyk, and you take AJ, you remove them, right? Wilder's knocking everybody out underneath that, in my opinion. I mean, he's also going to knock out Usyk and AJ. I'm just saying those are the primary targets, right? But outside of those 2, because he's already lost to Tyson Fury, we can add Tyson Fury in there if you guys like. But let's look at Usyk and AJ, who we want to see him fight. I don't believe Usyk is enthused to fight Wilder. I do believe that. I believe that he's not enthused to fight Wilder. I do believe AJ said it, but I don't think AJ really want to fight Wilder. I do believe that there's some delusion in capping and saving for AJ within the UK. I just think that the UK fans or AJ fans don't want to see Wilder possibly or potentially get that scalp. I think what would be more devastating or most devastating if some reason AJ gets beat by Wilder. Now, if I'm Tyson Fury, of course I circumvent that because Tyson Fury has already complimented Deontay Wilder and said Deontay Wilder is the second best heavyweight. He said he beats Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury is saying that he believes that Wilder is the second best. So he's still saying Wilder is the more threatening fighter after he beat him. That's what the man said. So he don't have to kiss Deontay Wilder's ass at every turn. They're still competitors. They have nowhere else to go. They only fighting in the same weight class. They can't go to 168 and 200 pounds and 175. They can't belt hop. So all the drama is going to be composed within a single location, which we call the heavyweight division, bro. So I don't think Fury is in the mix of that technically. I mean, administratively, you could say that shit, but physically, he whooped his ass. So I don't think, or I'm not saying that anybody said anything. I'm not saying you saying that Tyson Fury is a duck. I'm just saying I don't think it is if that's a conversation to be had. Tyson Fury is not ducking Deontay Wilder. And anybody who thinks that, I would like to hear more, and I question your understanding of boxing because you can't just be ducking somebody after you beat the shit out of them twice. Bad. Okay? So I'm going to remove Fury. He's already complimented Deontay Wilder and said he believes Wilder beats AJ and Usyk and that Wilder is the best heavyweight outside of him. So, of course, naturally, Fury would want to jump ahead of Wilder for Anthony Joshua fight. He's already beat Wilder, the second best heavyweight. He's going after the third and potentially the fourth now. Tyson Fury needs these fights for his legacy, and he needs to get them now. He's on the hook as well too. Yeah, you beat Deontay Wilder twice. That's cool. Yeah, you beat Chisora 3 times. You beat Dillian White, and you're making great strides. Okay, you can't get the Juggernaut now because he just lost. So that leaves Usyk, Ruiz, and Anthony Joshua. Ruiz is going through personal issues with a whole bunch of things that me and Phil Walker and them chopped it up probably like 2 weeks ago because we already been ahead on that about the prostitution and drinking and cocaine and whatever he got going on. And Ruiz got issues right now. So we just going to put him on medical leave technically. Okay? But Usyk and Joshua has already fought, right? They fought twice. I don't think Usyk is that good. I argue with Wayne Talk all the time. I don't, and anybody else who think Usyk is good. Wilder is going to blow his brains out on the canvas. I think Wilder is going to blow Anthony Joshua brains out on the canvas. I think Tyson Fury is going to beat both Anthony Joshua and Usyk. And it's well within the right of Tyson Fury to play the game. I would convince them guys to block Deontay Wilder out too if I think he's the second best heavyweight. Come on now, dog. 7-8, come on now. I know you don't like it, but you got to understand, you know how this goes. You're a long-term thinker. You're a long game type of guy. You run a successful business and a successful community and a successful podcast. And, you know the history. You know, we go back since the recording days with Rollo. So you know what the thought process is with me, Zone 6. You know, I don't have a jurisdiction. You know, I speak publicly and confidently. So what I'm saying to you is, I understand your frustration because I'm frustrated too because Wilder shouldn't have fucking lost in the first place. All right? But it happened. And if I'm Tyson Fury, of course I freeze out Deontay Wilder. Usyk ain't beat Wilder. I don't care if y'all niggas call him a duck or not. I don't care if you call AJ a duck or not. I want them first. I want the bodies. It's kind of like this. Let me give you an example. It's kind of like with these debates, right? I don't want anybody to let me give you an example. I don't want BFT to debate anybody except me because I want to get his scalp first, right? It's just like that. I don't want Get the Smoke to lose in his debate. I'm glad he was able to get a free space because the guy didn't show up. Because I debate him tonight. I want the scalp before the other nigga get the scalp. That's just competitive nature, 78. You know that. It's like a female. Let's talk females. You know how we do it, the bitches. You've seen the work that I do and what I produce. You know that. Hold on one second. Get my water real quick. Yeah, so let's talk bitches, right? Let's talk females. Let's talk women. Now, you know my history. You seen the work. You got proof. You got hardcore evidence, right? You know how we used to do it back in 2014, 15, 16. You know what I'm sent you 7-8, specifically talking to you. When you're talking to a female, 14, 15 years old, 16 years old, you start getting your head wet, right? New hot girl moves into the neighborhood or at said location, right? There's something about being the first one to engage as opposed to the second and third, right? When something's fresh, you want the first bite. It's just human nature. Now, we know AJ already lost to Usyk twice and to Ruiz as well. So that's not a surprise. But if I'm Tyson Fury, let's think about it from his perspective, even if it's uncomfortable for you. Sometimes we got to digest uncomfortable truths. If Tyson Fury is trying to cement his legacy, if he's truly trying to do that, why would he not want to fight Usyk and AJ first, especially looking at the fact that them two might be sweet and Fury around his stopping shit too? Is nobody, including yourself, 78, you don't pick Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. That's why you're frustrated, because you know if Fury get to him, you said it. What's going to be left of Anthony Joshua? Not a fucking thing. He's just going to get his shit splattered by Tyson Fury, and the glory going to go to Tyson Fury. Wilder and AJ may fight after that. And then you're right. Usyk should be fighting Wilder while Fury fight AJ. It should be a division, right? It should be split up. It should be Tyson Fury versus whoever, right? Usyk or AJ. And Wilder should be fighting the other one. But it seems that Usyk and AJ don't want to fight Wilder, so they want to box him out. I don't think it has anything to do with Fury. And if Fury is going to go along with it, he's cool because he wants to benefit himself, right? If Wilder's not in the tournament and he gets to beat both of them up, why wouldn't he want that? An undefeated Usyk, undisputed, and then give you a defense against the bodybuilder, as he called him. And then he might have a plan and come back and might fight Wilder for the fourth time, which he's expressed that action. I don't know if he's lying. I don't know if he'll retire after that. But I know if Tyson Fury beat Usyk and he beat AJ, especially if he stop him, he going down in history. So why would he want to extend the courtesy to Deontay Wilder and he already beat him? We know most of the time when you bust up a fresh pack, it's a fresh pack for a reason. We like the fresh pack as opposed to not the fresh pack, right? So Usyk sitting over there on that O, and he's beat Anthony Joshua twice. So the pack is Usyk because he got all three of the belts and he's a cruiserweight, and he seems to be the easy road. So I don't understand when we say ducking if that's on the table. I don't think Fury's ducking anybody. That's clear, right? Everybody praised Tyson Fury for taking the Deontay Wilder fight. Let's not forget that now. Let's not forget how happy and praiseworthy we were of Tyson Fury for taking a fight. We can't recant that now. I mean, things change, and you're doing your thing, but things change. So I'm going to tell you this right now, man. 7-8 Sports TV. I understand your frustration. I understand your affection for Deontay Wilder. I understand your political position, your economic position, your social position, and your mental and possibly your spiritual position in connection to Deontay Wilder and his camp and the investment fully laid into him. With that being said, that still don't change the principles. You know how this go. You know how this shit go with the females, and you know how this shit go on the streets. And you know how this military thing go. Shout out to Mr. Big 78. Big time. Salute to the colonel, to the captain over there. So you know how this go on all fronts. Discipline, streets, and with the women. And you know the move that Tyson Fury is making is a good move. Because one thing I know about you, 78, you only contest things or speak to things that are high-level chess moves and long play moves. So I don't know if everybody else know that, but I know that because we've talked for hours and hours and hours before the conception of what the Lions Den boxing community may be today, right? And again, it's not to take away from 78. It's just to add to a conversation and a consideration. Because this is how we used to talk back in the day. So I'm just bringing it to the forefront because it's a good-ass topic. It's a good-ass topic. You raise a great fucking topic, just like you always used to do. So it's my belief that Wilder is being ducked by Usyk. It is my belief that he is going to beat the dog shit out of him. I am with you on that. It is my belief that Wilder is going to beat the dog shit out of Anthony Joshua. And guess what? I can't wait more than you. I can't wait to see him splat them two son of a bitches. I'm so sick of AJ, man, and his fan base and what they think and the protection plan they got in place, man. Man, they got AJ on better insurance than Allstate. Man, this nigga insurance policy is a fucking one. Man, Anthony Joshua has better insurance rates than Geico. I mean, this guy is super protected. The shit I've heard these fans say is ridiculous. And I can't wait till he gets splatted. And I get it. I know the frustration. You don't want Tyson Fury to beat the dog shit out of him like you suspect he will. Just like I suspect he will. Just like Tyson Fury gonna beat the shit out of Usyk. See, 7-8, you don't like the fact that Usyk and Anthony Joshua is being handled by Tyson Fury and drumming and marching to Tyson Fury's command. I understand the optics of power. I understand the positions and the 48 laws of power and the 33 mastery strategies, right? And the art of seduction and the art of war, whatever it is that you have read and understand from a political or leadership position. So I understand the video. It makes perfect sense to me. I agree with some of the points, but I'm just saying to you that in the spirit of the old ways we used to do it back in 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah, man, you're going to have to tell Deontay Wilder to make another play. The other play is going to be to keep fighting. You already got knockout power. You already, most likely, if you fight 3 times a year, let's check this out, 7-8. If y'all convince Wilder to fight 3 times a year, bro, this nigga probably won't even achieve 12 rounds or 36 rounds or 24 rounds. He probably will always fight under 12 rounds if he just fight 3 times a year. He's the fighter that I'm most confident in that can fight 3 times a year. Think about that. Why aren't y'all talking to him about that? I know you talked to him. And then I think one of the Pac-Man, I grew up with them niggas. I think he and the thing, they grew up in Boat Rock with me, Fulton Industrial. I'm everywhere, man. Yeah, I grew up with Pac-Man, the little cousin. He was little when I was in Boat Rock, though. I was like 14, Pac-Man 14, 15, and his cousin Latoya Jones and the other brother, Latoya Jones, her brother used to be real good at football. He was better than Pac-Man, considered by most in Boat Rock back in the day. Yeah, I went to Westlake. So I know the little dude, you know what I'm saying? He was a little dude when I was moving around. And I know he's over there in the camp. I shouted him out on this video and tapped in with him. But he's from Boat Rock, from the west side. You understand what I'm saying? And that was in the late 90s. We grew up together. So yeah, I kind of got an idea who's over there in the camp. So between you and Pac-Man, little cousin, y'all need to explain to Deontay Wilder, hey, bro, why don't you just stay active? Get some records. Stay winning. Keep doing your thing. Support your family. Keep getting that bread. And keep winning. That's all you got to do. Let the section go with the law. Like the loss, man. The loss is the loss, man. You gonna win some. You gonna lose some, bro. Like, come on, man. Just come on, man. This shit's crazy. So it is what it is. And I'll leave y'all with that on the heavyweight response. Now let me go through and pick through some of this, and shout out to 7-8 Sports TV. Check his video out. But that's my position on it. So let me cook. I'm getting ready for your eulogy and cemetery plot ready, because Get the Smoke is going to body bag you, Zone. Okay, the Zone hype ends tonight. Rocky Marciano 49 and 043 KOs. Have fun debating against that. Yeah, it's gonna be easy work. It's gonna be easy work. Let me cook. So I got some stuff for you though. I'm gonna lay it out when we get to. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna come out, let the moderator do his thing, and I'm gonna come out with a whole bunch of shit. You just need to make sure you know who Jack Johnson is, and you need to do your research. If you come into this debate, man, please look up some of the information on some of these guys, so it won't seem like I'm just talking out my ass or in the air, and you could give proper comments and assess the debate the way it's supposed to go. Yeah, if you want me to lose, you can want me to lose, but you better make that shit make sense. Yeah, because it ain't gonna be like that, brother. And this the thing about it. I'm been going in my bag tonight. I'm not finna yell and do all that. I'm not finna use no charisma. I mean, I'm gonna have some fly shit I'm gonna say, but I'm finna tell you right now, I'm on a new level with this shit. I ain't rusty. I've been on the YouTube consistently. I've been listening to everybody, and Smoke is not on my level. He's a good guy for you guys. Man, Smoke can't fuck with me. Can't fuck with me, man. I just made him quit the other day. And he got Rocky Marciano against Jack Johnson. Are you on cocaine? Oh, you think Jack? Man, come on, bro. I rip his ass down right now, but I'm gonna say that for the debate. Think about who Jack Johnson really is. All right. Yeah, I know you probably, won't smoke the win, but he ain't gonna win. Because we got credible judges on here that know their shit. And he gonna have to come with something that's gonna explain Rocky Marciano bullshit that he pulled. Remember, you said something about 49 fights and 43 KOs, but look at the other numbers within that you're not speaking on. You ain't talking about that 3. You ain't talking about that 3. See, I know you don't even know what I'm talking about. You ain't talking about that other 3 as opposed to that 8. That 3 opposed to that 5 and opposed to that 6. When you combine that, you get 11. You gonna have to make some shit make sense. Let me cook. You understand what I'm saying? You better think about who the fuck Jack Johnson really is. And you better go back and look at all the shit that Rocky Marciano said out of his mouth, because he was around doing television. So everything you use let me restart that. Everything you say may be used against you in a court of law. And I'm going to use it. Rocky Marciano talked too much. He talked too much. Way too much. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to show you. It's going to be education. This ain't going to be none of that shit. This ain't going to even be nowhere close to what I did for 86. That was a freestyle off the top of the temple, snatch the crown off his shit on his own platform type deal. This is going to be well thought out. Matter of fact, I got a whole package for that shit. I got a whole package for smoke over here. And you think the debate gonna last 3 hours, but I got a whole bunch of information to fill up a whole 3 hours by myself without smoke on it. So since you so confident in smoke, we'll see how he responds to all this 3, this 5, and this 6, and this 11, and this 8. We're gonna understand that. We're gonna have to understand that tonight, since you're so confident in smoke. And you can always put your money where your mouth is. So yeah, I'm what channel? It's gonna be on my channel. It's gonna be on my channel tonight. It's gonna be on my channel tonight. Let me say this again, because I don't want this to get misconstrued. Because we on the day, and we still got some people. Let me make sure let's get this straight. It is going to be tonight on my platform at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You make the arrangements from there. You make the arrangements from there. It is going to be on my channel. It's going to be on my channel because I haven't ever had a debate on my channel. I always travel abroad. I've done one on 78 Sports TV channel. I've done one on 86 channel. I went to, multiple channels to these light work debates and this sparring. Now we're gonna host it over here so you guys can get what a real debate's supposed to look like, the structure and the organization. Take me out the equation. We're gonna have Blood Boxing as the judge. We're gonna have Rollo Jenkins as the moderator, Phil Walker as a judge, Wayne Talk as a judge, Ryan Clark as a judge. That's how that's going to work. Boxingologist as a judge. These are all credible players within the YouTube broadcasting game. You want to check out Boxologist? Check out his channel, King G the Boxologist, and go check out his first round performance in the Knockout 86 Super Series debate tournament. He just destroyed a guy over there. He's credible. If you want to know who Rollo is as the moderator, go back and check on his channel. He got all the old uploads of me, 78, and the whole gang over there. You go find some of the material over there. Go to Rollo Jenkins. If you want to see the young Zone 6 back in the day when we were communicating with 78 and a whole bunch of people, and you want to know where we get this background music from, we made that in the spirit when we was all talking to each other. So if you want to go look at some classic stuff, go back and look at Rollo Jenkins' channel. It's a moderator. Big Phil Walker. Check him out. The Fix. Y'all know what Phil Walker do. He walks around. He does his thing. He makes his round. It is what it is. These are credible people. Wayne Talk just went over there. 86 He debated 86 on his channel, live in HD. Wayne Talk has debated quite a few people. He know what it is. He got the experience. He got the channel. He got the time in. These are credible people. In Blood Boxing, y'all know he's delivered massive classics, massive historical pieces. So we got real judges. And me and Smoke agreed to all of these judges. We agreed to the moderator. We agreed to the platform. And we agreed to the whole structure of the debate in its entirety, 50-50. He got Rocky Marciano, and I got Jack Johnson. We agreed to the time because he said he had this specific time he needed in his window, and I met that. We compromised back and forth, back and forth. Simple as that. So I'm going to allow this to be open up because I'm concluding in 30 minutes. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep these short and sweet, about an hour and 30 at most. I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm going to stay around in this 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock block just to have this practice in. Remember, I told you guys I really won't be doing it, Saturday, Sunday like this, but I'm going to go ahead and keep the spirit going, right? But next week changes the schedule. After I get done with this debate, we'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 o'clock. And if there's a major fight, you'll get me on Sunday around at the same time. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays will be my broadcast days. Probably at 11 o'clock. I may slide it down to 10:30, may slide it to 10, depending on what's going on. Depending on how the views come in, depending on what you guys request, depending on kind of if you on your way to work. I just put that together for you. So 3 days out the week. That's the schedule that I know I can maintain and I can keep. On Sundays, I may drop the historical pieces for you guys, such as the lineage and the bloodline of the heavyweight championship, which I've already completed part 1. You can go in there and check out that. I have a playlist specifically for that. Also for the debates, I'm going to host debates as a wild card to the channel. Once you guys feel that you have a debate, we can come set it up and I will host it. And eventually I'm going to move off of the belts. I'm going to destroy Smoke tonight, but I'm going to probably move off the belts after this fact and allow you guys to get that work in and put that work in with any conversations you want. I know young Yimmy Jimmy say he wants some work, but we're going to see. We're going to find out. If not, I just hold on to him and give other people opportunities, whoever want them. But let me get ready to drop this link because I want to hear you guys' piece on the heavyweight boxing division and what do you guys think? Okay, this is not a diss video. This is not a video for where you get to complain about the host or the response video, right? This is not a bashing of another segment of people or nothing like this. This is a proper response. Bring the response back, right? So that's my position on the conversation. So the question would be this. What do you guys think about the heavyweight division? Deontay Wilder, Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, and Anthony Joshua. Who you guys got winning? Who you guys got coming out on top? What do you guys think about the entirety of the heavyweight division? Let me cook. I'm going to say it one more time. I missed it. Are these judges credible or are they on your payroll? What payroll? They just participating. I just explained to who they are. Blood Boxing is highly credible, right? Boxology just went over there in the Super 6 series tournament and blew a guy out of the first round. And I've debated Boxology before. So he is no reason why he would pick me. If anything, it's an opportunity for him to pick against me. Blood already told you yesterday on the channel live in HD, he ain't going to have no mercy on neither one of us. And me and Smoke agreed to these judges. I also threw G-Style in there. He said no. I threw Hyplo out there. I get the Smoke said no. So let me cook. I can explain to you the whole structure. And then as long as you come on and answer the question, as long as you don't come on here with none of that weird shit, you can just hit the link and answer this question about the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, Anthony Joshua, the Saudis. What do you feel is going to happen? Or you could ask me questions right now about the debate. Anybody got any questions, hit the link and you could come on right now and you can ask me what you want to ask me. I'll leave this open for a few minutes. And outside of that, I'm finna shut it down because that'll be my time. I told you guys I'm not going to hold you guys up. I got a structure. I got a playlist on what I'm responding to on a valid, solid rotation. So I'm gonna let this music ride until somebody decides to jump in. If they don't, they don't. I'm gonna let it ride out. I give it 2 cycles. After these 2 cycles, I'm out.
In your living room, Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the bruise. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
Break it down. Give me 5 people you're ready to fight right now.
Timothy Bradley, Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander.
All right. Got blood in the building.
No, man, you're doing a lot of talking over here. You need to be over there studying, man.
Man, you ain't got to worry about that. My presentation is packaged and good. I started studying last week. So I don't know. Smoke might need to be studied. He did a 11-mile podcast last night. So I'm on my shit. I got my quotes and everything. You just make sure that you actually know what the hell you talking about.
Listen. I hope you know more about Jack Johnson than I do. I don't think you do. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. You ain't debating me. You debating Smoke.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't know Jack Johnson, I'm gonna be pointing this shit out, bro.
Man, listen.
Blank period.
Man, you ain't worried about me. You gotta worry about both of us. You need to worry about what he gonna say about Rocky Marciano.
Hey, listen, I did a refresher on both of them guys. So
Yeah.
I prepared as a judge.
Yeah, I like that.
And I didn't waste my time preparing as a judge. I spent 45 minutes to an hour preparing and going back and looking at these guys again and looking at their opponents and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of Jack Johnson's opponents, just to let you know. So you'll be surprised too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised because I'm gonna point out. Listen, you dropping clues. You need to make sure that you just listen to what we saying and make sure you just judge him based on what he's saying. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about whatever he say. He got to be able to prove. This ain't gonna be no argument. This is gonna be an education today. This ain't gonna be like the 86 or one of them classic Zone 6 videos and debating where we go back and forth. No, this is at my house on my terms for Undisputed. So you gonna see an education, a thorough presentation. And I've been watching interviews, so the shit that Rocky Marciano don't say it out his mouth don't fuck him. So we can talk about that, and you'll get those tonight.
Oh, so you dropping hints? Dropping hints already? Because see, you already gave away part of your strategy.
It's just true. See, it's true. You gonna like it though. I'm telling you. So you need to go make sure you study. I want to make sure that you understand the information that I'm putting together outside of y'all normal shit about. You know how y'all do. I ain't gonna need. We're gonna see.
Man, I got flaws on both fighters. I got flaws that I listed down.
There you go.
I'm expecting for y'all to capitalize off of the flaws of Rocky Marciano. Smoke to capitalize off of the flaws to make his man the better man. Because you gotta have to look at them flaws too. But that's all I'm saying. I'm leaving it right there.
Yeah. That's how you feel. Yeah. So look, they trying to see, and then look. See, you coming over here busting my chops, or trying to at least, and they asking if you credible or you on the payroll. I tell them, no, man, blood coming here to move some furniture around.
Oh yeah. I'm credible. I'm more than credible. I got documentaries. I'm the owner of Retro Boxing and Documentaries. How credible can I be? I don't have a Rocky Marciano documentary yet. I don't have a Jack Johnson documentary yet. But I done read on both of these guys. I know their errors. I know their opponents. If you've been studying it for a debate, you should know a little bit more than me, though. But we'll find out, though. And I'm gonna be hard. I'm gonna be hard on both of y'all because y'all represent the warriors of the past. So I'm gonna definitely be putting it in for these damn warriors, bro.
Yeah, I hope you is. That's good. I hope you is. So you just be ready.
I see you got some of the homies up in here. You got the lab up in the comment section.
Yeah,
Taco K and Mr. Pads and all them up in here, and Yemi up in here, and you got let me cook. I don't know, let me cook. You got a couple dudes in here I don't know, but Tony's review. That's my boy right there. Tony's reviews.
Yeah. Tony. Yeah, Tony be really doing his thing. He be doing a lot.
The guy who just commented, Joe, that's a historian right there now. So he gonna be listening in. You're gonna have historians listening to this shit. You know that them historians gonna listen. Whether they comment it or not, they gonna be listening in. Oh, yeah. So I gotta do my job as a historian, bro. I can't let guys like Joe see me slipping.
Yeah, you got to.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? I'm the historian on the panel. So I gotta really put it in and be hard on y'all. So don't take nothing personal tonight. Man, it ain't nothing personal, man. I'm good. I'm 0 to 60. I know who and know who what did what. You'll see. You gonna see. So we'll see tonight, man. You can tell them what you want to say. Talk your shit, man. Oh, but I'm gonna ask you this too before you start talking your shit about the debate. Okay.
What's your thoughts on Deontay Wilder, Fury, Usyk, and the AJ Saudi proposal and alleged tournament at the heavyweights? What's your position on it? Because we don't really get to hear you school us on the heavyweights too much, blood. But what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I've been listening to a little bit of it. I follow this guy from the UK. His name is Sporting Icons. He talks about the what's going on over there with this whole thing of Saudi and all that. So I haven't really heard a whole lot about it. But from what I heard, ain't it supposed to be Deontay Wilder versus Usyk and Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury or something like that? You got to update me a little bit now because I ain't been keeping up. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, no doubt. If you ain't been keeping up, that's part of it, shit. Because, I know
the fighters, but I just ain't been keeping up with the negotiations.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with negotiations. So what, are they going to do this thing or what?
Yeah, they supposed to be. And then we got a lot of doubts about it. Fury is, holding the cards. He's supposed to be, trying to fight AJ and Usyk, and there's a thought process that they're freezing out Deontay Wilder, possibly. And just people were just ready to see it and make it final, because last thing I heard was Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua supposed to be fighting. That's what I
Wilder and that. I think it goes like this. I think styles make fights. You got 4 different fighters. And as we've seen with the 4 horsemen, styles make the fights. So you got different guys fighting each other here. Some of these guys already met. Deontay Wilder already met Tyson Fury. Anthony Joshua has already met Usyk. So when you got like the 4 horsemen of the heavyweights, we still got some missing parts here. So we need Deontay, because, I'm going to think about this shit scientifically, right? So you got Deontay Wilder, who is yet to face Anthony Joshua and Usyk. You got Usyk, who is yet to face Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. You got Anthony Joshua, who hasn't fought Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. You got Tyson Fury. The only one he's fought is Deontay Wilder. So, I would have to say that these styles, they're going to have different outcomes depending on which fighters fight each other. We don't utilize triangle theories. If I have to say Deontay Wilder versus Usyk, that's a really hard one. That's probably the hardest one to call, is the Deontay Wilder versus Usyk, because Usyk is going to definitely have to stay out of the range for that big left hand that Deontay Wilder's got power in both hands. So he's going to have to stay out of range for 12 rounds.
The right hand.
I'm not sure, man.
You mean the right hand?
Go ahead.
He got to stay out of range of that big right hand.
That big right hand. Yeah, my bad. The right hand. And anyways, he's got power in both hands, but you're right. It's the right hand that he has to capitalize on. And Usyk will have to box off his back foot, look for openings. I don't think he should try to take out Deontay Wilder unless Deontay Wilder gas out. But to be real with you, man, I would probably favor Deontay Wilder. I definitely would favor Deontay Wilder to beat Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah. I got Wilder beating everybody except Tyson Fury.
Anthony Joshua, too. I'm going to favor him to beat. I think the only one that Wilder can't beat is Tyson Fury. Now, Tyson Fury, I think, could beat them all.
I agree.
Usyk has AJ's number. I don't think Usyk. I think the only one out of the four that Usyk could beat is Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, I know that there's some extreme Anthony Joshua fans out there. They get really upset. I'm not saying nothing personal about Anthony Joshua, right? I just think he's the weak link out of all four of those guys. The one that I have the most problem with is that Usyk versus Wilder fight. But see, Usyk isn't that big guy that could wear down Wilder like Tyson Fury and put his body on Deontay. He's gonna run into something, man. I would favor Deontay Wilder too. And all of these guys are older fighters too. So it's not like anybody has an age advantage. I would favor Deontay Wilder to beat Usyk. I would favor him to beat. And I'm sitting here thinking while I'm talking to you because this just came across, and I hadn't really never put no thought into his zone until just now. So I'm trying to sit here, and I really think that Tyson Fury is the best. I have Deontay Wilder ranked number 2. I have Usyk ranked number 3. And I have AJ ranked number 4 as far as my personal favorites. Now, as far as like where they're at in the heavyweight division, I would rank Tyson Fury number 1, Usyk number 2 because they have the belts. Because I downplay the belts.
Right.
Even though Usyk is a unified champion, I still think that Tyson Fury is the better fighter. That's just my opinion on. He's bigger. He could fight out of the southpaw, the orthodox. He could fight mid-range. He could fight in the pocket. He could fight long range. I just have Tyson Fury as the top guy. Then I have Usyk, even though he's unified, I still got him as number 2. Then I got Deontay Wilder. Then I'll put in Anthony Joshua. No hating on Anthony Joshua. I didn't say he was a shitty fighter. I'm not sitting up here dissing him or nothing like that. If I felt like dissing him, I would because I don't give a fuck. But I have a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua. I think he's one of the better fighters. He's now switched trainers over to Derek James. I didn't think he looked that great in his last fight. And I'm going off a lot from his last fight. I didn't think he looked all that hot. So that's how I have it right now, bro. I don't know if this fight is going to happen because, we have to wait on negotiations and Tyson Fury with him holding all the cards. You never know with that guy, man. That guy is so wishy-washy, man. And he's gonna he has a lot of say in this whole thing. So I'm not really sure with Tyson Fury holding the cards, man. I'm gonna leave it at that.
But I just want to ask you something.
Jimmy, what you got?
Blood was saying about the age factor. I think Wilder's 38 and AJ is 32. Do you think maybe that could play a factor?
Is AJ only 32? I thought AJ was 34. I'm sorry, but 32 is not super young. But yeah, it is. There's definitely a 6-year age advantage. Is that's something that is
Yeah, Fury's
I didn't
34.
realize it was 6 years between them. I had no idea it was that much between them.
Yeah, Fury's 34. Usyk is 35 and Wilder's 38 or 37.
37.
Yeah, 37.
Okay, so Wilder is 37. Okay, so there's a 5-year age advantage for Anthony Joshua if he's really 32. You sure he's 32 now?
He's either 32 or 33. But the last I checked, heading into the Usyk rematch, they build him at 32.
It's actually 33. I just looked it up. He's 33 and Wilder is 37. So that closes the gap 2 years from what you originally said. So let's see, 33, 37. There's a bit of an age advantage, but it's not nothing major. None of these guys are in their prime anymore. These guys are in their 30s now, all of them.
Yeah, I got Tyson Fury beating all of them. And I think Wilder's second best. And then I think Usyk would be third best. And I think AJ come in at a strong fourth. That's
Bro, I always thought AJ would beat Wilder, but after his last performance, man, I mean, I really don't know. When he fought against Usyk, the power jab, the body shots, the big right hand that he was setting up, it started looking like the old AJ before he gassed out. But he just looked, God, like he looked terrible in his last fight. Like if I didn't see his last fight, I would have been confident that AJ would beat, Deontay Wilder. But I mean, he looked stiff, he looked slow, he looked gun shy. That is the worst I've ever seen, man. I think maybe going to Derek James was a mistake because originally I thought it was a really good idea, but I mean that was a pro AJ crowd and they literally booed him out the arena, you know. So no one that I've spoken to, even the biggest AJ fans, they were just really surprised at his performance. Yeah, he didn't look good against Franklin, even though he dominated the fight. I think he won nearly every round. I don't know if it was a style thing. I don't know if it was a gelling thing, but before the fight, I really thought AJ, because I always thought AJ was a better fighter. You know, he could punch with both hands. He had better overall skills and just more big fight experience. But after watching the Franklin fight, I mean, yeah, that's a really dangerous fight for Joshua. I actually think Joshua versus Wilder is a bigger fight than Fury versus Usyk. Just as an event, I think you've got obviously the British American rivalry, you've got the casuals, and you've got two knockout artists, and you've got the 5 years of bad blood and beef. So I think that's maybe a bigger fight, just numbers wise, than Fury versus Usyk, which is undisputed. It's kind of funny though, right?
I think it's still a big fight, but you know what? What do you think though, Jimmy, about this is the hard one, Deontay Wilder versus Usyk?
Look, I think Usyk has a puncher's chance, but I just can't see Deontay Wilder beating Oleksandr Usyk. I just think the angles, the speed, you know, he was getting outboxed by Luis Ortiz, a southpaw with good boxing skills, but Luis Ortiz really doesn't have light footwork, and I don't think he's got the ring IQ or the speed of an Usyk or the gas tank, you know. But in both fights, Luis Ortiz was winning the fight. The only problem is Luis Ortiz always gasses in the second half because of his age. And the guy is, for a Cuban, the guy is very flat-footed. So I think a guy like Usyk, who's super light on his feet, who's got way more speed, a gas tank, and who's had some good fights to acclimate, I think he outboxes Wilder like a UD. But again, Spilker, you know, he had so much success. Luis Ortiz and those guys don't hold a candle to Oleksandr Usyk, and I think Usyk beats Fury. You know, with Tyson Fury, you know what it is. You know, whenever he fights, you know, a fighter like Usyk, whether it's Steve Cunningham, Otto Wallin, he looks pretty poor. And the way he's been acting spooky, because I'm a massive Tyson Fury fan. But, you know, I just think stylistically, Tyson Fury, I just think it's a bad style for him. I think Usyk's foot speed, his awkward style. This is a guy in Fury. Because I've been following Fury since the beginning, you know. I've seen all his interviews, the articles, because I was a big fan. And I know what fighters he's avoided coming up, and I know what fighters he's been targeting. And ever since the Steve Cunningham fight, he's really gone out of his way to avoid short guys with good skills and speed. And Usyk is just way better than Steve Cunningham. Even Otto Wallin, awkward southpaw, good skills, but the guy's barely European level. No offense to Otto Wallin, good fighter, but he's not the same class as Oleksandr Usyk. I think Usyk, I think he'd beat Fury and Wilder and Joshua as well. I think he's the class of the division.
Not only that, he's a southpaw, and I forgot to mention that, but that's another strength that he has, is being a southpaw. And Wilder did at times have some problems with Ortiz out of the southpaw stance, and Usyk is a little bit lighter at his feet. I just don't know if Usyk has the power to keep a Deontay Wilder off of him. I don't think he punches as hard as Luis Ortiz did, but he's highly more skilled. He is more skilled than King Kong, though. I have to say.
Like, you're a historian. As a historian, do you think it'd be kind of weird though that in the era of the super heavyweights, if a cruiserweight finished out on top? I mean, that'd be a little, I don't know, man. It'd be kind of weird though, wouldn't it?
No, not really, because we've seen Evander Holyfield have success with that, and Usyk is pretty much now growing into heavyweight. I think he was weighing in the 220s in his last fight or something like that. And he looked pretty shredded to be in the 220s. So I think he's now a full-fledged heavyweight. The only problem with a guy like Usyk is a timing fighter. He relies on his reflexes and his speed. So fighters like that, when they get into their mid-30s, it's hit or miss. You don't really know if they still got it all, especially with the long layoff that Usyk has had. And I think he might have had another surgery, right? Didn't he have some kind of surgery or something like that? So this is an older fighter that's breaking down. And I know all of the guys are a little bit older. Father Time hits fighters at a different stage. But I don't know if Usyk has never fought anybody like Deontay Wilder, man. And I think Wilder is more skilled than people give him credit for, too. I think he's more skilled than what people give him credit for. They always say Windmill Wilder, he can't box, but I saw him box very well against Luis Ortiz. I seen him box well against Stavern. And I know these guys are not on Usyk's level when it comes to boxing, just straight up the sweet science. But it's not like Deontay Wilder can't box. People go around and say he can't fight, but those are usually just guys who over-criticize Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder can fight, and he's always working on his skill set. He stays in pretty good shape. I've never seen Wilder going around looking. I know he's got great genetics, but I've never seen him like he does wind out a little bit, though. He does wind out a little bit. But he's got to put in the road work, man. For a guy like Usyk, he's going to have to have the stamina and the endurance for a guy like Usyk. So hopefully he'll continue to put in that road work if he's getting ready to fight somebody like Usyk. But if he catches Usyk, his lights out.
Usyk.
Yeah, and I
don't think Usyk can beat Wilder. I see it Tyson Fury number one. If this tournament happens, Wilder will beat Usyk or AJ. At this point, AJ is pretty much shell-shocked. So I got it. Fury, Wilder, Usyk, AJ last. I think all three of them beat AJ. Deontay Wilder's skill set, you got to understand, he's got a very good left hook that people don't really talk about. He can sit you down with the left hook, and he can line you up with the straight right. However, you got to look at how he's changed since he's been with Malik Scott. Look at the trilogy with Tyson Fury. He was jabbing to the body, throwing straights to the body. It's just he didn't have enough time to develop under Malik Scott. He's looking like a new fighter. When he fought Helenius, he did a pullback check counter and slept him. We've never seen him do that before. So his skill set, while most people may get worse in age, I think Wilder is getting better in age because he's learning a skill set he never had to go with the power. So I see it a bad remedy for Usyk to go against him, especially after Malik Scott. And I really don't know if Fury could beat him in a fourth fight because the more time he has to get more honed in on his skills, the better off he's going to do. The one advantage that Fury has versus all other boxers in the division is his height and his length. He's the only person taller and longer than Wilder, so he can keep him at bay. He can stay away from danger. Whereas Usyk, AJ, they don't have that luxury. They got to walk into the furnace. They got to get burnt to get in. And that's the thing. Can they take the heat? Or are they the firemen that Teddy Atlas talked about? I don't think they are. I think he sits them both down. Especially an AJ that doesn't let his hands go. That's the worst thing of all. Let Wilder get confident. Because then he's going to hit you with everything. And he's going to be relentless. So I don't see how Usyk beats him. I don't see how AJ beats him. I would much rather see Wilder versus Usyk and Fury versus AJ because I think those fights are more exciting than vice versa. Really, Fury versus Usyk, I think, is a one-sided fight. I think the first 3 or 4 rounds, Usyk will do well, but Tyson Fury will hold him, lay on him, and get his legs tired, and then he'll just pick them apart. If, AJ fights Wilder, I think AJ's too hesitant to let his shots go, and I think it ends pretty early. I don't think it goes late at all. If you flip it, though, I think Fury will have a little hesitation to go at AJ to finish him early because he does have weight, he does have power. So I think it extends on for a little bit. And then Usyk versus Wilder is going to be a chess match. And who can get off, who can stay in, can, Usyk stay away from the danger of the punches. So I think it's more exciting that way around, but we probably won't get it that way.
So if AJ, look, If Joshua wants a chance to beat these top guys, he needs to go back to his old way. Joshua is a guy that's got tremendous physical strength, tremendous combination puncher. He can fight on the inside, probably just as good as anyone. That stuff's, trying to box that range against Deontay Wilder is kind of a pretty dangerous thing to do, especially with Wilder's right hand and how sharp he is on the trigger. I think he's have to get on the inside where it's actually safer, because Wilder's not really a good inside fighter, and I don't think he's as physically as strong as Joshua. I think on the inside, I think Joshua could really do a lot of physical damage and grind Wilder down and knock him out. But I think trying to outbox him at range and being shaky and gun shy, that's just going to get him fucked up, I think.
Yeah, but Jimmy, I don't think AJ's that strong. I think he's
Me
big.
either.
I think he looks muscular. But looking at
He got pushed back by Usyk, Tony.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Usyk time, Tony, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Blood. I watched Usyk, who came in 220-something, low 220s, and he was controlling him, dominating him in the pocket, like he was out muscling him. Just because you look strong doesn't mean you are strong.
No, I'll give you an example. Tyson Fury wasn't able to physically bully Klitschko on the inside. Anthony Joshua was. But this is a Joshua that, again, it's kind of like a different version. This is a Joshua that was like a heat-seeking missile. He was search and destroy. When Dillian White rocked him with the left hook, what did AJ do? AJ started smiling. He bit down and started slugging it out with him. When Klitschko hammered him to the floor, he got up, weathered the storm, and bombed Klitschko out. That is the Joshua that needs to come back.
Yeah, but Jimmy, he didn't come back because he came back due to skill, grit, or heart. He came back because he was in there with a 40-year-old who had been out of the ring coming off of a loss for a year and a half, and he gassed out. That's the only reason why AJ got back in the fight. He was getting bounced around that ring like a pinball, and all he did was shell up. He didn't have any offense, no counterpunching, nothing. He just shelled up and looked terrified after he got floored. It was only because Klitschko couldn't let his hands go that he came back.
No, I disagree with Klitschko. That was the best he's looked, I think, in a long time, And this was a Klitschko that was sitting on the sofa eating donuts. This was a Klitschko that had 2 training camps because of Tyson Fury's pullouts. So I think this is a Klitschko that was sharp and in shape. And fans give Fury all this credit for beating Klitschko 17 months ago by running around the ring and stinking out the joint. But that same Klitschko fought Anthony Joshua, who was barely a British prospect at that stage. Tyson Fury was like 25 fights deep, He was a guy that traveled the world, got a lot of professional experience. And 17 months later, I thought it was the same basic Klitschko,
Jimmy.
But AJ was obviously a front foot fighter.
Klitschko dominated the heavyweight division for 10 years straight before he lost to Fury. Fury did it so easily, people thought it was boring. It looked lesser than a sparring match. Klitschko was confused. He was outclassed. There was no need for any type of muscling or anything. He was confused. He didn't know what to do. AJ went in there against a 40-year-old who you just said was out of the ring. I said a year and a half. You said 17 months. A year and a half. He was out of the ring for a year and a half. And it was a fucking war.
Yeah, because of tactics, though. Joshua fought sort of as a pressure fighter. And Fury fought as more of a, kind of on your bike behind a jab, So I think different tactics, Fury didn't stop Klitschko. He didn't drop Klitschko. He lost the final round. Joshua dropped Klitschko twice and knocked him out. And this was in his 16th fight?
I'm not trying to go back and forth, but my thing is this. When you go life or death with a fighter and then another fighter fights the same fighter and it's the easiest night of his career, there shows the difference. It's not about triangle theory, but you can gauge somebody and how good they are skill-wise versus somebody else. Like, just because 2 guys fight doesn't mean the other guy can per se beat the winner or loser out of those 2 guys because he may have beat the winner or loser in the past. But what you can gauge is you can gauge their skill set. You can see how they maneuver against the light type opponent. And at that point, I'm sorry, Jimmy, like, I used to be big on AJ, but he's not what he was made to be. And he's not what I thought he was. He's just not. He's a good fighter. But when you compare him to greats of the past, elites of the past, he's just not cut from that cloth. He's just not that good.
Yeah, but when Tyson Fury was going life and death with sort of B-level cruiserweights like Steve Cunningham who can't punch, and he was getting bounced off the floor.
How many rounds did it go, Jimmy? How many rounds did it go?
I don't remember, but okay. Who would you rather struggle with, an all-time great heavyweight champion in Klitschko, or like a B-level cruiserweight who can't peel the skin off a rice pudding? But that guy was having Fury doing the chicken dance. He bounced them off the floor. So it's like these were the stages they were at. In Joshua's 16th pro fight, he was going war. He had a war with the all-time great champion in Klitschko. In Fury's 16th fight, he was going life and death with a cruiserweight. A lot of people considered a journeyman. So it was at
So
different stages.
Steve Cunningham was never considered a journeyman. He dominated the cruiserweight division, especially before he moved up to heavyweight. In fact, wasn't he a reigning cruiserweight champion when he got in the ring with Tyson Fury? So the notion that he was a journeyman or whatever, I don't even know what you're talking about. On top of that, Steve Cunningham was known for having explosive power. That's what he was known for, being explosive. And he has knocked in fact, Steve Cunningham has once punched. Steve Cunningham has one punch knocked out people before, but if memory serves correct, and I could be wrong, I believe that fight only went 7 rounds, maybe 9 max. I thought it was 7, where Fury knocked Cunningham out, and then Cunningham came up with all these excuses about being held, and that's why he got knocked out. It wasn't a full fight. Yes, he floored Fury, but that's all he did. There was no war. What are you talking about?
When you lose most of the early rounds and you got dropped and hurt, and then that looks like a war. 6 rounds in, he was losing the fight. I give Fury credit. He adjusted. He used mauling tactics and big man stuff, and he won the fight. But Steve Cunningham was like a non-factor in the heavyweight division. Maybe journeyman was harsh, but Steve Cunningham really hasn't busted a grape. Outside of getting knocked out, a bunch of times at heavyweight, I can't really recall him doing anything worth mentioning. This is the guy that gave Tyson Fury all kinds of hell.
Hey, let me say one more quick thing before the other two guys who just got on the panel. But one thing I noticed about Deontay Wilder too is that to have success against Wilder, man, you have to take away his power hand. I think that Fury is the only one who could actually circle into Wilder's power hand and take away his power hand. I just don't think that Anthony Joshua has the strength to do it. He's going to have to take a risk by circling away from Wilder's power hand, and so would Usyk. I think Usyk has the better chance of doing that, but I don't see any of these guys being able to smother the power hand of Wilder, and that's something that you have to do to have success against Deontay Wilder. I think he's a lot stronger than people are making out. He just had to deal with a guy who weighed 300 fucking pounds, who's been in the ring since he was a little kid, who knows how to circle to the right, circle to the left, use lateral movement. So I don't see none of these other guys being able to take away that power hand from Deontay Wilder.
Oh, yeah. What's good, Blood? What's going on, Blood? What's up, Zone?
Shout out to you. Shout out, man. Shout out on Buckle Up. I'm sorry. I was on mute. Shout out to you, brother.
Yeah, I was just saying, I was listening to y'all on that. As far as Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder got a hell of a shot in this fight with Anthony. If him and Anthony Joshua fight, shit, I wouldn't be surprised if Deontay Wilder would knock out Anthony Joshua right now if they was to fight. Because Anthony Joshua it seemed like it's been all downhill for Anthony Joshua, and I don't really see no success with him against Deontay Wilder. Now, Deontay Wilder against Usyk is a whole nother story to me. I think that Usyk is too smart to get hit with the right hand you talking about, Blood. I think Usyk is too smart. He know about it. He'll train for it. He'll practice for it like the whole time in the training camp before the fight. He'll be working for that, adding that into his arsenal because he like a heavyweight Lomachenko type to me. He got that same all them tricks and all that crazy stuff. So I don't really see Deontay Wilder catching him. And right now, I think that what's his name who beat Deontay Wilder? What's the heavyweight that beat Deontay Wilder?
Tyson Fury.
I think Tyson Fury beats Usyk though. If Tyson Fury and Usyk fight, I think Tyson Fury will beat Usyk. Just off of size, which you was talking about, Blood. Again, I think size play a part. And plus, Fury can box. Fury kind of smart, and Fury can box a little bit, so it's gonna be different. And I don't think Usyk can stand with him. The only person I think my future heavyweight, who I think will take over everything, who I think will beat them all blood, who beats all of them, is Big Baby Jared Anderson.
Oh yeah,
I think Big
definitely.
Baby Jared
I
Anderson.
knew you was gonna
all
say
of them.
that. I knew you was gonna say
I
that.
don't know about that. I don't think Anderson has a chin. I'm telling you, I think he's a knockout waiting to happen. Mark my words today at
I
this
think
point. I've seen him rocked
I think
by guys who can't even punch.
Uh-huh.
I think he's the next American superstar. You know, if you look at a guy like Big Baby Anderson, he's got the look, he talks good, he's flashy style. Like he's got everything it takes to like become the next American superstar. I think that guy could actually become way bigger than Deontay Wilder because he's with ESPN from the get-go. The heavyweight division is kind of hot, like, and he's got, you know, like I said, man, he's exciting in the ring, speaks well, and he's got a marketable look as well. So that kid
Mark
really
His
my
biggest
words.
advantage is how much younger he is than these guys. He's actually several years younger than some of these guys. He's more than a decade younger than. So what he should do is just take his time, develop his skill set a little bit more. He likes to be considered a switch hitter, learn how to fight a little bit better out of the southpaw stance, because I think he gives it more of a southpaw look than a complete fight out of the southpaw stance. Age these guys out a little bit, take your time, and then these guys will be ready to go. I'm not sure if he wants to get in there with these guys right now.
Right.
Just like I said, mark my word about his chin. Just remember that. Keep a mental note. We'll see in the future because it's hindsight is 2020. But I'm telling you, I don't think he can take a shot. I do not think he can
Keep
take
that
a
in
shot.
mind. I'm gonna remember you said that. Your voice sounds familiar too.
Tony, give that kid a year, and I'm telling you, he'll
That's
beat the
Tony.
brakes off
Oh,
a
what's
Wilder.
up, Tony? What's going on with you, Tony? I remember I used to be best of the best when I used to be talking to you before. What's up with you, Tony?
Thought it was Rilo Jenkins for a while.
Give that kid one more year, and he'll beat the brakes off a Wilder. I think he could be the next, heavyweight king.
I'm telling you, Jimmy, that chin is real sus. Wilder would probably sleep him.
No, Tony. I totally disagree, Tony. But I mean, hey, if Wilder hang around long enough, we'll see. We'll see if that can happen. I don't think Wilder will be around long. They probably gonna never get him. That probably gonna never happen.
Wilder.
He can be around long, like.
Wilder's got 2 fights left, in my opinion. He's got, if they're doing a tournament, he's got the fight against whoever he's going to fight. If it's AJ or Usyk, he's got that fight and then the undisputed fight, and then he'll be retired.
Yeah, that's what I think. I believe you. I believe you too. That's why I said I don't think they have a chance.
I think.
Who's the guy? Yard Night.
Yard
Night. What's up with you?
Yeah, man. What's up, bud?
Yeah, what's up, Yard Night? Go ahead and get in there, Yard Night. You got something you want to add to? Because I kind of agree with my agreements align with Tony for the most part. And I don't think that none of these guys underneath these guys are really proving anything yet. They keep getting stopped, broken eye sockets. They get momentum and then they lose. We're looking at Joe Joyce. We're looking at the boy. I don't think Anderson and none of those Frank Sanchez. I got to see them. What I would like to see is those guys really fight each other, and we get 2 or 3 guys that rise up out of that crop to have me believe that you can mess with Wilder, Fury, Usyk, and AJ. That's what I would like to see.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a fair analysis.
I think Wilder can be around a long time because his power is not going to go away, no matter how old he gets.
Know what he just said about them guys getting stopped, a lot of that shit been happening. A lot of the guys that we really think that like the Joe Joyce shit was a shock to me. I said, wow, damn. I was kind of shocked, like, damn.
Yard Night, did you have a name before this? What Yard Night, real quick, because you sound like one of our partners, like one of our old YouTubers. What was your name before this?
The Fox Rex.
This is the Fox Strikes. That's right. That's right.
I thought so. That's what I was just going to say. What's up, Fox? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we okay. Go ahead, Fox. I'm gonna call you Knight though, but that's my boy Fox, man. Hey, man, welcome back. What's up? Go ahead, Fox. Cook on
Salute
it.
to you, man.
Yeah, man, it's
Salute
good.
to
It's
you,
good to
Fox.
be back. Went away for a couple of years.
But
But
yeah,
it's
who
good
hasn't
to be
been
back.
mentioned that I think is I don't know. From what I've seen, and it's limited, I think Torres is going to be that next guy from America, to be honest.
Torres, I don't think I seen him yet, Tony. I don't know about him yet.
Yeah, gold medalist.
Yeah, see, the problem is, man, with all these divisions, this is my only issue. I don't want to just put this on Tyson Fury, Wilder, Usyk, and AJ. I like to see a true number one contender. Give me something outside of those four guys that these other guys that you guys are claiming. Show me something. Let's
Yeah, but
call for
Zone,
those shots, right? Yeah.
I was just going to say, Zone, we're never going to get that because this is post Mayweather era. Like, if this was back when boxing was at its best, before I was born, before you was born, when all the historians loved boxing, all these young guys would have losses because they all would have fought each other. And that's why they're known for so long because iron sharpens iron. They was always fighting the best on the way up. Now, the best on the way up fight bum after bum after bum after bum, and then eventually we get a good fight from them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
See,
that's
it's kind
they
of
need to
weird though
do
because
something like
in
that.
the UFC, like these guys, no disrespect to them, but some of these dudes have got like double-digit losses, like Masvidal and Nate Diaz, and those dudes sold out Madison Square Garden and did massive numbers on pay-per-view. No world title was on the line. Both dudes between them, I think, had over 20 losses. But man, that was like a rock star event. I don't know why boxing is.
Man,
I don't
cause
know why
them
people.
guys over there in the US, all that shit going on over there, that Dana White shit going on, they doing that shit that Tony was just talking about. They fight like they back in the day. All that shit all I hear about motherfuckers tell me, and I don't even really watch that shit, but everybody they all tell me this: you gotta watch UFC, you gotta watch that shit. I'm telling you, they be warning that shit. Like everybody, the best fight the best all the time. They all so people brag about that shit. They bragging about how so they must be fighting the toughest motherfuckers. Must be fighting the toughest motherfuckers coming up or something. They doing something over there.
And not as many weight classes either.
Yeah, one belt as well per division.
And that's
Hey,
the
Yard
thing.
Night, I just subbed up to you, Fox. Yard Night, I just subbed up to you, man. I'm glad you're back. One
Yeah,
love
man,
to you.
respect, blood. It's good to be back.
And
Yeah, bro,
that's
I was
the
a big fan
thing.
of your channel.
That's the thing
I used to watch
about
you.
like. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Nah, bro, go ahead. I'm good.
No, I was just gonna say, and that's the thing that used to make fighters special. Like, if you want to use UFC as an example, John Jones, that's what makes him special because he's beaten the number one guy behind him his whole career. He's basically been a champion his whole career, and he's remained. I consider him undefeated because he's only got one loss to a DQ, which was a BS decision. But that's how you really see the most specialist fighters whenever they can constantly beat the other best and keep the O. When you keep your O and you're not fighting nobody to keep it, it doesn't become as special.
Yup, yup, that shit real. Them
Yeah,
fights,
what
them
John Jones
them
did.
motherfucking fights back in the day, man. I be watching them motherfucking fights. They still got a lot of them fights on YouTube back in Muhammad Ali days and all that shit. Oh, I be watching a lot of that shit. And Tony
But
right, them motherfucking fights was wars back. Them motherfuckers was warriors back. Them motherfuckers was going. They was banging out with each other. Everybody, yeah, they wanted that smoke for real. They wanted
yeah,
that smoke before we was
you don't,
going.
you don't have to go that far back either, man. I mean, we ain't got to go in the 50s and the 60s or the 70s or the 80s, man. You can go to the 90s, man, when you start getting Trinidad in the welterweight division with Corey Spinks and Zab Judah. Man, you can look at with Winky Wright when he cleaned out 154. I mean, it's not that far fetched. We always talk about the heavyweights, but I was around when guys were still fighting. I'm not. That's not foreign to me. I was born in the 80s, so I got the 80s and the 90s. You
Well,
know,
I
like,
be still watching them though, Zone, just to see what I was fucking missing, cause how much I'm into the sport now. So YouTube gave us the pleasure of making. They got them motherfuckers way back. So I be just looking at them. Just I roll up, sit down like it's a fight night, and watch them. And them
right. I'm with
motherfuckers, I say, God damn.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Some
be
shit
telling people, man, look at
different.
that Ike Corte, man. Look at that Ike Corte and that De La Hoya. Look at that Pernell Whitaker and De La Hoya. Look at that Castillo
Oh
and
yeah.
Diego Corrales.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, shit. You go back to Pacquiao won with Marquez. I mean, so it's a lot of fights out there that happened in the 2000s. I was watching it pretty early, so I got to see a lot of these in real time. I used to like Trinidad. He was like one of my favorite boxers, especially at 147. You know,
Me
start.
too. Felix, I love Felix Trinidad.
Yeah,
That's a key. Hell yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, hey man, so listen, this is about the heavyweights. I'm gonna rotate it around. I gotta ask everybody because we got Fox back and Tony. I haven't heard you specifically say anything, but we'll start with Tony. Go to Buckle Up, Knight, Blood, and then Jimmy. We'll just rotate it around like that. What do you guys think? Your initial thoughts on Earl Spence versus Terrence Crawford? Whatever you want to discuss, just lay it out on the table. What are your thoughts, Tony?
Earl Spence wanted to fight the most. That's what I believe. I've always been back and forth with it. I think it's a great fight. It's coming a little later than what I would like to see. I wish this would have happened like 2-3 years ago. But at the end of the day, Spence had an out. He could have fought Thurman. He could have went up to 154. When Crawford went into his Abenesian fight, he could have fought somebody else. And it's apparent to me that Spence's true intentions all along was to fight Crawford because he fought nobody else but now Crawford. So I like the fight. I wish it would have happened earlier. I think it's a 50-50 fight. The problem that I see in this fight is Crawford likes to come forward. He's very tit for tat. And if you hurt him, the dog comes out. But against a guy like Spence, who's going to attack the body, which Crawford never really has his body attacked, I don't know if tactically trying to be a bull against the bull is the best way to fight him. So I don't know. I like the fight. I think it's the biggest fight in boxing as of this year. So I like it a lot.
It's me
But
next.
yeah, it's on you. Buckle up. Do you
All
think?
right. Of course, I just like off of what Tony just said. I think it's the biggest. I think this is the biggest fight of the year. This is definitely a super fight. It's the biggest fight we done had in a long time. As far as super fights. And after seeing the interview, which I just caught the interview this morning with Bud and Spence on there with that dude that I forgot his damn name, the black sports guy on ESPN.
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith. All right, so I just caught them on his interview, and that interview in itself, just the energy and looking at both of them, I just see that Spence know what's getting ready to happen to him. I feel like Spence could feel it. He know where he just stepped into, and Spence know that the reason the fight didn't take place, they know that money wasn't right. That money wasn't right, so wasn't nothing happening when it comes as far as upfront guaranteed money. Until Bud upfront guaranteed money till you made a satisfiable situation, that fight wasn't happening. And now that it's going to happen, I feel like Spence feel was getting ready to go down. So we'll see on the 29th, but I definitely got Bud stopping Spence. Somewhere between 8 and 10.
All right, Yard Night, it's on you. Fox strike back. Just in case you don't know, he back. Go ahead, do your thing.
Right now, I haven't been watching boxing in a couple of years, so I'm a bit rusty, but so far, I think Spence has it in him to stop Crawford, to be honest. Like, even earlier today, I was rewatching bits of the Felix Diaz fight. Felix Diaz being a southpaw, only difference being that Diaz is much shorter and has shorter arms than Spence, I believe. And it wasn't until maybe round 3 or 4 in the fight when Diaz started getting close, you see him starting to try to rough up Crawford a bit. It's just that Crawford, being the taller guy, could have gotten away with leaning away like that. But with Spence, who's gonna have a bit of a height advantage over him, that's not going to be the case. Uh, so I think Crawford has the faster hands and feet than Spence, but will he have the punching power to really deter Spence from him? I mean, Spence has taken punches from Kell Brook, Danny Garcia, and just continue pushing forward on them to beat them up. So right now, as of now, before making an official prediction in my head, I think Spence stops Crawford.
All right, all right. Since we clockwise in this thing, I'm gonna jump in and pass it to Blood. I just don't see what everybody say about Earl Spence. I think sometimes we get carried away with the description of a fighter. Earl Spence is basic. He's consistent, however, but the opponents that he's faced are technically in question. I mean, before the fight, people were dogging Danny Garcia. They were saying how he's not this and not that. Now that he's on the resume, he's somehow an example that we could point to show these illustrious skills that Earl Spence had. But before it was, he's going to duck him. Danny Garcia is absolutely trash. Danny Garcia is nothing, right? And then when we look at the Terrence Crawford fight, when he fought against Sean Porter, 60% of the people was picking Sean Porter and saying, hey, man, this is going to tell us everything we need to know about Terrence Crawford because he's not ever faced a person that's like Sean Porter. Now, all of a sudden, that energy is gone. And all the information and data that we was collecting and bitching and moaning about, somehow all that's out the window. My thing is this. There's no way in no realm of athletics that I would select a guy who's strong, knocking people out, have adjusted through each one of the weight classes, and we all universally claim that Terrence Crawford at least is top 3 pound for pound. And you may not even have Earl Spence in your top 10 pound for pound. You may have, but we do rate him higher based on his subjective skill set. So I'm supposed to believe that an undisciplined fighter who has PTSD, who said that at the turn of a wrong, powerful hit across the jaw, he's going to possibly be lapsing in judgment because he's concerned about cosmetics. I don't think you can pull that kind of stuff against a guy who lived his lifestyle in Terrence Crawford. I just don't see the evidence that support anything that suggests that Earl Spence is going to beat Terrence Crawford, period. I got a stoppage and possibly the towel coming in because I think the effects of what Earl Spence is outside of the ring, whether we want to believe it or not, is going to show up on the night, and there's going to be mercy and grace extended because he has a family, he has a wife, everybody's going to be there, and Terrence Crawford is a demon. He doesn't relent. He's not Ugas. He's not going to sit there. Even when I look at his face during the interview with Stephen A. Smith, I just believe that he really want to hurt this guy. I ain't saying he going to do it. I believe he is, but I think he's going to hurt Earl Spence real bad. I've never seen in history, like I keep telling everybody, where two high-level black guys get together and the fight is a bullshit, tit-for-tat, controversial decisions. At this level, when two black guys get together and they're undefeated and they're prime and they intend on hurting each other, somebody get hurt every time in history. So that's my thoughts on it.
Am I supposed to go next here, Zone? What's going on?
Yeah, it's clockwise. It's clockwise. You next.
Okay. Okay, then listen. Now, this is a good fight. I'm glad the fight has been signed. What I think that Terrence Crawford would need to do, which is who I'm favoring in this fight, I think he needs to circle to the left hand out of the southpaw stance. He needs to circle to the left hand of Spence because Spence doesn't have a whole lot of experience fighting southpaws. We looked at this a while back, and there wasn't very many southpaws of note on his resume. In fact, he had a very limited amount of southpaws, and I don't think he looked as good against the southpaw fighters when I did take a look at that. If there is any southpaws of note that Spence has fought, you guys can let me know, but I think that Terrence Crawford has a little bit more experience in fighting southpaws. Maybe at times, while circling to the left, maybe at times confuse him with an orthodox stance. Keep it at mid to long range if he can. Keep the distance by utilizing the back foot and look for openings and counters. Tire Spence out, eventually close the distance, plant his feet, and try to get Spence out of there. Now, Spence, what he needs to do is he needs to close the distance very early. Do what he can to rough up Crawford, make this a rough fight. kind of like people always like to compare Hagler to Hagler Hearns and stuff like that. Well, he could do that. He could try to close the distance like Hagler did against Hearns, go to the inside, work to the body, continue to make it a roughhouse fight. If he has to hit low, use a few dirty tactics. That's what great fighters do. But do everything you can to punish Terrence Crawford and to impose your will on him. And if he is, I do believe that Spence has a better infighting game. So I think he needs to keep it at close range, and he needs to close the distance very early before Terrence Crawford starts to build up his confidence, find his range, and get comfortable fighting Spence at mid to long range. If he tries to do it too late, it's gonna be too late. So, but anyways, I think that Terrence Crawford has the skill set to fight off his back foot, keep it mid to long range. He could give Spence an orthodox look to confuse him from time to time, but I think he needs to keep it from out of the southpaw stance because of Spence's lack of experience fighting southpaw fighters. He needs to circle to the left of Errol Spence to throw him off balance when he's trying to throw the right hands especially to the body. Spence likes to go with the right and lefts to the body, and that's how I see it, bro.
What up, y'all? Salute to the OGs on the panel, man. What up, Jimmy?
All right, we'll jump to Jimmy. Jimmy, go ahead and cook, and then Kush, you'll have it next. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think Blood made excellent points. So did Zone 6. I mean, you guys pretty much highlighted everything. My sentiments, look, I think Terrence Crawford will finish what that Ferrari started. When it comes to Errol Spence. For me, bro, it's like Terrence Crawford does everything better than this dude, right? He's faster, he's a bigger puncher, more skilled fighter, better ring IQ, better with the angles. He can switch guards, more skilled fighter. For me, bro, it's like, don't get me wrong, Errol Spence he's a good fighter, but this is not going to be like a competitive fight, at least in my opinion. I think that the first rounds might be a little slow, but when Crawford starts shifting through the gears, a lot of dudes on YouTube are going to start deleting their accounts. So I think this is going to be a destruction, and I'm really happy, I'm really happy this fight's finally on because these aerosexuals, they're some of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life. Dirty fruitcakes, and Terrence Crawford is going to send them back to hell, and I'm just, it's Judgment Day. I'm really happy, I've been wanting this fight for a long time because I know what's going to happen, and I just can't wait to see it. So I've got Terrence Crawford knocking out Errol Spence inside 7 rounds.
All right, cool.
Hey, hold on. Can I correct before y'all go any further? Can I correct something I said? I said circle to the left. I meant circle to the right. My bad.
Absolutely.
I'm mixing it up. I meant circle to the right. He needs to circle to the right, not to the left.
Yeah,
I don't
we
know
got
why
you.
I'm saying left, but I meant circle to the right, my man.
Because you right-handed, you right-handed, right blood.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just kept saying to the left, but really what I meant is I got to remember that he's fighting out of a southpaw stance. So what he wants to do is he wants to circle to Spence's right, not to his left.
Right.
He has to circle to his right to prevent Spence from coming with a left to the body. Because I don't know, for some reason I was forgetting I had a blank spot, and I was forgetting that Spence too is a southpaw. So he needs to circle to the right, not to the left. So scratch what I said about the left. He needs to circle to Spence's right.
All right. OG Kush the Great, you got it. And then Tony Reviews, we back on the rotation. Go ahead, Kush the Great. What you got to say?
Again, salute to the OGs. OG Tony, what's up? Buckle up, Jimmy. Zone 6, I've been listening to you for a minute on Blood Page, bro. I had to sub up, bro. You got a lot of knowledge about the game. But what I see in this fight, I see Errol Spence, like OG Blood said, he does fight well on the inside with somebody who's going to stand there and play that game with him. But I don't see Bud doing that. I see Bud using his footwork like he did in the Sean Porter fight, like he did in other instances where we've seen. And Errol Spence shells up a little too much. When he shells up, I believe that Crawford's going to go to his body. And he's going to start to walk that man down. Earl Spence, he'll start to throw them shoe shine punches, and Crawford gonna catch him between the punch and stop him. You know, he can't have them type of mishaps with the mouthpiece and stuff. Even if he wasn't hurt, he can't have that mental lapse like he had in the Danny Garcia fight and in the Ugas fight, because he get hit with a solid punch from Crawford. I'm anxious to see if his chin can hold up to that, because if it can, then hopefully we'll get the fight that I and I believe a lot of fans really want to see, because I think that if he can hold up to that punch, Bud is gonna beat the hell out of him. You know. So that's how I see the fight going. Earl Spence is a good fighter. He uses a lot of framing. He leans over your shoulder with his head and hide his punches. He is a great body puncher. He's not that precise, because he don't stop people with one shot to the body like an anyway or anything like that. But he does put a lot of punches together. He has a high output as the fight goes on. But I believe that Bud is going to catch him between them punches and make him think twice.
All right, that's a good assessment. Hey, Tony, it's on you.
I mean, again, it's just hard for me to really break down this fight, because I think what people like to forget is the work rate of Earl Spence. This dude will throw 100 punches around from round 1 to round 12. So I don't know if Bud's ever dealt with that type of work rate. And then it's just really what I'm getting hung up on the most is the body shots. It is the fact that I cannot recall, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't recall one fighter ever numerous different occasions going to Bud's body. Everybody I've ever seen fight him tries to headhunt him. And I just know for the first time, he's going to get hit to the body, and he's going to be walking into the body shots because he comes forward just like Spence comes forward. And I don't know, Bud is very good. He's very good, very technical, very good counterpuncher. But sometimes when you pick and choose and you're being economical and you're looking for the best shots, you can get overwhelmed. And I could see a strong case for Spence being able to just overwhelm him with volume. But I don't know.
Unless Bud moves around like he did with Diaz, but even at some point in that fight, Bud started to come forward and plant his feet. I think
Right.
you were the one who said it, but can be a bit tit for tat. Once you hit him with something good, he just wants to throw down right away.
And I do agree that Earl Spence, he does have a high output as the fight goes on, but there's something about that man Crawford. He'll neutralize a man's best game. Like in the Sean Porter fight,
Hey,
Sean Porter.
Chris, real quick, you cooking good, but you got like popping, and I want everybody to hear you clear. You got some popping coming through your microphone.
Okay, I'm gonna leave and come back. Let me see if that fixes it.
Okay, all right.
You got to continue to move to the right, man. Move to the right of Earl Spence, because see, think about it. Think about the southpaw stance, and think about the movement to the right. And I don't know why I said to the left, man. I don't know if I'm, still need to get some coffee or something. But he needs to move to the right to keep Spence off balance when Spence is throwing that left to the body, because Spence likes to bang with his power hand to the body. And Spence is going to bang with that left to the body. I was watching his fights, and if you keep moving to his right, when he throws that power hand to the body, he's going to be a little bit off balance for a counter shot. Think about what I'm saying, Zone 6.
No, I agree with you, Blood. The problem is if he does move like you want him to move. See, the thing about Terrence is he switch hits. He likes to switch his stances in the fight, but we all know he's a true southpaw. Even though he's right hand dominant, he's most comfortable in the southpaw stance. So while he would be moving away from Spence's power hand, he would also be putting himself out of position to throw his power hand by moving in that direction, because he's going to be moving away. So he's taking his own power away from Spence as well. I mean,
but he also has the advantage of switching his stance too, though, Tony. He could also go orthodox some too. But I think he needs to utilize his movement away from Spence's power hand.
Yeah, and that's why I agree with you 1,000%. He's definitely that's my only hesitation with this fight. That's why it's so 50-50 to me, because I know how much of a dog Terrence is, and if you one up him, he's not, like, all that goes out the window. He's gonna come straight at you, And that's what worries me in this fight. I'm scared that he's going to abandon what you're saying he should do, which is smart, and just come straight head on.
Yeah, I think that's an exaggeration about Terrence Crawford being this guy that's very, very skillful. And then once you do one thing to him, he just rage into a fucking fit of anger to be hit and exploited. That's a gross exaggeration. I mean, a ridiculous, gross exaggeration. I mean, this guy's been knocking people blocks off. No one's went to 10 or past 10 in the last few years. And we're talking about him maybe rage fighting into a guy who is just stationary. Like, Earl Spence is a high-level slugger. Okay, I know we don't like to put that tag on African-American fighters, but he's a slugger. He's in the realm of a Antonio Margarito. He's in the realm of a Ricardo Mayorga. He's just a little bit more refined and not as animated as those guys. But here's the problem. His tolerance and endurance and ability to absorb punches is not as high as you guys think. I mean, Sean Porter really gave him some work. He came out really with damage on him, and that was before the car wreck. Danny Garcia did something that I think is very, very important that is being overlooked. I mean, he was able to really neutralize Earl Spence. Like, Earl Spence didn't do anything to Danny Garcia. Like, you didn't see him really get hurt. And this is Danny Garcia, who everybody thought sucked going into the fight and called a knockout. Like, let's not forget that people have been calling knockouts for Earl Spence every freaking fight. Let's not try to downplay that and forget that we didn't think that. And so now when we get the result that we didn't want to get, now we're confused. No. He can be neutralized. He's stationary. If you keep him at a certain distance and in the pocket, then you have a great chance at beating him. He doesn't deplete these guys like we're saying. He didn't do it against Danny Garcia at all. Okay, he didn't do it against Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia just didn't have the physical attributes to exploit Earl Spence, but the IQ was there. It just wasn't enough. Mikey Garcia just didn't have the physical attributes, nor did Danny Garcia. And Terrence Crawford fought in that vein. He will slow the pace, and he will counterpunch you. He will pick and poke and look for holes in your game. And Earl Spence will earmuff it and sit there and be hit. We've seen this time and time again. He will earmuff. When he gets confused, he earmuffs it, and he comes forward looking to try to stop you and intimidate you with coming forward. And that's where he's going to get hurt.
And
I don't know.
Like,
I
know.
Go
It's
ahead.
hold
Go
up.
ahead.
I'm gonna let you go, Tony. I know what Tony was talking about. Zone 6 when he say how when Bud get hit or you get a good shot in on him or something, it look like he get real mad and come at you, whatever. But the thing is, Tony, I think that he has the best patience with it. I see what you talking about. I know what you talking about when a person get the shot in and he show a whole different type of aggression. But I think that he know what he doing with it though. And he
Yeah,
possibly might
calculated.
do it. He might do it. He might do it like you were saying. You was telling Blood, you don't know if he gonna avoid that side and get mad and come into that. That might happen. And that's what we're gonna have to find out where far as him taking a punch from Spence. If he end up taking another punch a couple times, I think he'll be smart enough to know he can't do it. But it might happen. I know what you're talking about because of his aggression when you score on him. But I still see him. I see him dealing with that and still getting Spence out of it.
Yeah,
I
because
still,
even when that happens, he's still very calculated with the aggression. But normally, what happens is that he takes a big shot, he grins, and he's still taking his time. But you can tell from his expression that he really wants to get back at you.
yeah, I know what Tony talking about. I be
I
seeing
mean,
it.
you could a real good prime example is just watch him fight Cal Velasquez. He got dropped. I don't care what the actual call was. He got dropped. He knew he got dropped, and his complete style 180. Then he just came straight at Cal Velasquez. Yes, he stopped Mean Machine. Good for him, but you could see the difference in the aggression and the attack. How he was looking for more counter shots, staying on the outside, working the pocket, getting out when he needed to just pure. I'm coming at you to hurt you because you made me look bad for one moment of this fight that I was winning. I mean, he's shown it in more than one fight that if you can catch him good, he will switch up his style. And that's my biggest hesitation in picking him in this fight because while you could say Earl Spence has not stopped anybody before Ugas in a very long time, the quality of opposition that Spence has been in there with has been on a very high level. So, while Bud, I do agree, is a very good fighter, you cannot, we can't sit here and pretend that his quality of opposition has been as high as Spence at welterweight, because it just hasn't.
Well, I feel like, Tony, I definitely felt like Spence should have stopped Mikey. Definitely. I all thought that was straight or going to be a stoppage.
Well, Mikey ran from
I also thought that he would stop Danny Garcia. Definitely.
Absolutely.
So, but I was shocked that the man down situation ain't pop out with
exactly.
Get down. Yeah.
And this is a guy who's been following this since 2012, when Earl Spence had like 10 fights. So I get what you're saying. I'm not saying that you guys are. I know what you mean by his temperament change, but this ain't the same way Timothy Bradley does it, right? Timothy Bradley had the "I want to get my lick back" syndrome, right? And it would result in him getting put down on canvas, all kind of crazy stuff with Ruslan Provodnikov, Kendall Holt. We've seen it, right? Terrence Crawford, when he goes into that mode, this is what's crazy. I don't see how we say that could be a problem when he goes into that mode, the result is the worst case scenario for his opponent. So then to suggest to say, you know what, I'm concerned that when you hit Crawford, he's going to come in and try to get his lick back, and it results in the opponent being knocked the fuck out. So if Earl Spence hits him, that seems to me that it is going to make it worse, and Terrence Crawford may stop him right after that. So how do we skip over that logic? Like, how do we get to, I'm concerned that when you hit him, he get mad and he may do what? Stop Earl Spence? Like, what, he gonna get hit and he's gonna say, oh my God, no, what? Yeah, he stops you right after that. So I don't understand the thought process on that one.
No,
Listen, man, I'm looking at the Porter fight right now. And what Porter is doing, and he's having success with, is he's moving to Errol Spence's right hand. And Errol Spence is off balance. He's off balance. He's taking a lot of shots, counter shots from Porter. Porter was very successful in moving to that right hand, man. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the Garcia fight again. But I do notice that Spence is off balance a lot when somebody moves and circles to the right on him, because Spence likes to load up on his left hand, and Porter kept him off balance by continuing to circle to Errol Spence's right. So that seems to be one of the big tricks. When I do my little film breakdown, I'm going to utilize that, because I see a weakness in Spence when a fighter circles to his right hand. He's off balance, man, because he loads up, he plants his feet, he likes to dig to the body and things like that. And when you do that and you're moving against that power hand, it throws the fighter off balance. And Spence is one of those fighters who fighters could have success with when they move to his right. If they move to his left hand, they're fucking stupid. They're gonna get caught by Errol Spence. If you move in right to his power hand, he's gonna load up, he's gonna plant his feet, and he's gonna nail you with those body shots. You have to move away from Errol Spence's power hand.
In zone, the caveat for what you said, the main difference in this fight is this. Bud, while he may have came up in weight, even at welterweight with the guys that he's been fighting, he's been bigger than. He was bigger than Jeff Horn. He's bigger than David Avanesian. He's a lot bigger than Sean Porter. He's bigger than Benavidez. He's bigger than Cal Velasquez. Like, every guy he's fought at welterweight, he's actually physically bigger than. So when you're the smaller man, and he's going to be the much smaller man when Spence gets in that ring. We're talking about a guy who walks around 190 pounds out of his own mouth outside of the fight competition. When he gets in there, he's going to be significantly undersized for the first time. It's different. You've got to be more careful. Yes, you may be more skilled. Yes, you may even hit harder. But physical size will add up on you very quickly. And that, like I said, that's my only hesitation with this fight, because the things that Bud has been able to get away with, I don't think it's going to benefit him if he does it in this fight. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm hesitant.
I believe that Bud's got that man skills. That's what I saw in in that Sean Porter fight, Sean Porter was able to put Earl Spence on his heels, and he couldn't set his feet at first to get that leverage, to get those power punches off that he throws. And that's where Sean Porter was having a lot of his success as well. And Terrence Crawford is going to walk that man down.
I mean, even the
He
Felix
couldn't set his feet
fight,
because he was moving to the right all the time. So Spence couldn't set his feet to load up, and Spence does need to set his feet. He's one of those guys who fights. He loves to set his feet before he throws and loads up with his power shots. He does it
even in
pretty
the Felix
fast, though.
Diaz fight.
He transitions. He sets his feet fast and pulls off his punches pretty fast. I'm watching this fight right now with Sean Porter. I got it on the big screen, but Sean Porter's having some success by not allowing Spence to plant his feet and moving to his right, because Spence wants to throw that left hand, and he likes to plant his feet to load up for the left hands.
I mean, even in the Felix Diaz fight, like, yes, Crawford could have gotten away with just leaning back straight and all of that because he's fighting a much shorter guy, so he can lean back. When Diaz tried to catch him with some overhand lefts, that didn't work out ever. But if he tries that with Errol Spence now, I don't even think Errol Spence has to even really throw overhand left to tag him like that. He just needs to get close and catch him with a left hook. But with regards to Crawford getting aggressive, I'm trying to recall who's the hardest puncher Crawford has ever fought in his career so far. Apart, like, when if Spence classifies probably the hardest puncher he'll be fighting.
It depends on what you consider. See, because there's one punch knockout power and there's an accumulation of punishment. I mean, Sean Porter has demonstrated that he can do that. Brook has demonstrated a combination of both. They both fought those guys. And I'm not sure if Earl Spence is the hardest puncher that Crawford would have faced, because Brook integrity on his entire face had been shattered by Triple G. And then Earl Spence followed up with that by shattering the other side. So he was already suffering from degradation within his skull frame of his face. So I'm not sure. I don't see Earl Spence as a power puncher. I see him as a guy who capitalized on an accumulation of punishment, just like Sean Porter does, just like Brook does in a combination of events, right? Depending on what Brook shows up on that day. So I don't know if he's the most powerful puncher. I don't see no impressive power within Earl Spence.
Well, you got to keep in mind too, Zone, that he broke Ugas's face as well. And when he did drop Porter, it was off of one shot. It wasn't accumulation. Porter ran into a shot and he was dropped. So, I mean, I would have to agree with the other guy who said it. I can't really see my screen because I'm outside. But I would think that Spence is probably the hardest puncher he's been in there with.
No, I'm not sure. I can't, just like how you're unsure, right, about the behaviors of Terrence Crawford, right? Even though the behavior suggests the best outcome for him, I don't see any evidence to support that Earl Spence is the harder or best puncher. Or even, and then it has to be efficient and it has to be effective. So I don't see him being an efficient or effective puncher, period. And I don't think he would be the most efficient or effective puncher that Terrence Crawford will face. I think we'll find that out on the night of the fight.
He went through a stretch of time where he didn't even have a lot of knockouts for a couple of years or something like that. So I'm not really sure if that's the truth or not, but we'll see.
I mean, come to think of it, who did he knock out after Brook? I think after Brook, it's been most of the decisions.
Yeah. And we started talking about his step up. I mean, they kind of got a similar track here of recent. I mean, we know Brook and Porter are the like opponents, but as much as he got coward losses and Avon Nation, he got Mikey Garcia and Lamont Peterson. What the hell is Lamont Peterson? We know Lamont Peterson is trash. I mean, just keep it a buck. I mean, Mikey Garcia is definitely solid. We wouldn't take anything away from him, but at welterweight and jumping up to that weight class, that's something entirely different, and he could not stop him. We didn't get a knockdown. We didn't get anything. It's true enough you broke Uga's eye socket, okay? That tells me what? That you can break eye sockets, that you're good at punching people around the eyes, just like you did Brook. I mean, that seems that might be a strategy that he employs, but that doesn't mean that it's knockout power. It's just an injury that takes place in the ring from an accumulation of punishment. It's not like he punched him and he fell out and his eye broke. He mowed him down and worked him down and grinded him down. It was a mauling type fight, and it was an accumulation of punishment. And Crawford does not sit in there to absorb punishment.
Yeah, but I can't hold Mikey against him because Mikey ran the entire fight. Like, Mikey came out in like round 1 and maybe 2 to fight, and then he said, "Oh shit," and ran for the rest of the fight. Like, literally, Spence was chasing a rabbit. Like, so you can't really hold that against him that he didn't get the knockout because Mikey just showed up to collect a check. He didn't show up to win the fight. He didn't even show up to fight.
Right. I mean, but Mikey never beat anybody at 47, and Danny, he beat Robert the Ghost Guerrero. So I don't see where the competition. I think when you referring these guys as according to the accolades, you're going based off the name and not what they did in the weight class. That's the issue I have with the level of competition when you talk about those guys.
One of the things that Spence did that impressed me when he was on the come up was that when you have guys like Bundu who went the distance with Furman and Algieri went the distance with Pacquiao, Spence straight up just walked through those guys. Like, just blast them out.
Algieri got knocked down. Algieri also got knocked down 6 times, and we got to understand that, yeah, Pacquiao is an established 147 pounder, but this man came from 105, and he put down Algieri 6 times. Yes, Earl Spence is a natural 147 pounder that put down a natural 140 pounder that got put down 6 times by a natural bantamweight, a historical bantamweight, but that's what happens. And then you say, so the test would be to me, like, if you knock out Shane Mosley, that's a guy who don't get stopped. I'm impressed. If you knock out Sean Porter, that's something I'm impressed with. If you knock out Danny Garcia, who has never been knocked out, I don't even know if Danny Garcia has ever touched the canvas. That is impressive. That's when I know power versus chin. I'm not saying Danny Garcia is, superior or anything, but that's someone who has a chin. I compare chin to power. And if you can get a person who's renowned with a chin, that lets me know that you have power. And Mikey Garcia's never been knocked out, and he's a lighter guy. Didn't get knocked out by Spence, and people picked it. Sean Porter was supposed to be going to get knocked out as well, too. He got put down, but not knocked out. That's a chin. Okay? I didn't see it with Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia still to this day haven't been knocked out, and he's at 154. So that's not punching power to me. That's an accumulation of punishment. That's the difference.
I'm living different with Danny Garcia. He's been in there with Lucas Matisse, Furman, Spence, and the guys never went to the canvas. That's true. Like, he's a very solid fighter.
Yeah, I'm watching them now. I'm watching Spence and Danny Garcia right now. I had to rewatch that. While we sitting here talking, I'm sitting here checking them out right now.
Yeah, man, look at Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia and Sean Porter. Those fights going to tell you a lot about how the positioning of Earl Spence could be very flawed. Brillard is looking at it now, and he's saying, whoa, I see something. Because I know we look at the fight in real time, and we're trying to look at, what we can counter with what was said on YouTube, and we're just enjoying it. Sometimes people drunk, eating, shitting, pissing, and all that kind of stuff. But when you look at this fight, look at the footwork that Sean Porter displayed. The knockout is what actually saved Earl Spence, or the knockdown is what saved him from losing the fight, or at least going to a controversial decision. Mikey Garcia did not run. Mikey Garcia doesn't even have fast feet to run. Mikey Garcia stood in the pocket, and he gave good movement. It wasn't like he was Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't even have the intangibles to escape from Earl Spence like that. I mean, this guy doesn't have long legs where he's just on the back foot. This is not Laura. This is not fucking Austin Trout. I mean, Mikey Garcia stood his ground, held his ground. They even said that they might throw in the towel because he was taking too much of an accumulation of punishment. And Derek James said, hey, you need to get this guy out of here. I watched the pay-per-view or wherever it was. I looked at the corner. I don't look at it. I don't stream these fights. I get them right on the first time. I don't have choppy service, none of that. I watch the pay-per-view for these reasons Exactly, to assist the fights. Mikey Garcia stood in the pocket, held his ground, and put on a good show. He got washed, but Earl Spence could not stop him in the corner, said, we need to stop this guy. What's taking so long? Derrick James literally said that, hey, man, stop this guy. He said, I'm trying. And he couldn't. So it's not because Mikey Garcia ran. Mikey Garcia ate a lot of punches. So this guy, Earl Spence, punches is based on an accumulation of punishment. He's not a one-punch knockout artist. He's not a guy known for a specific punch. He's known for his shoe-shining body attack and just bringing himself forward and just mowing you down eventually. And it's been against people who are subpar. Most of the people that he fight that is good, like a Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, he's not getting these stoppages that you guys are claiming that he's doing. He's not that dangerous. He's just simply not.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't recall that at all, Zone. I remember Mikey living on the outside, back against the ropes, moving away from Spence for over 90% of the fight. That's how I recall it. I also too by the fights. And I watch them on a big screen so I can see them in HD and see every little detail. But from my recollection, from my memory, I just remember him on the back foot for 90% of the fight, trying to get away from Spence. And Spence was forcing him to fight when they did.
Hey, let me ask you something, buckle up. You said that you're watching that Danny Garcia fight right now?
And I'm watching it on the big screen like Tony was just saying. I got it on the big screen right now.
Okay, let me ask you something, though. Is Danny, because I haven't looked at that fight again, is Danny Garcia mostly moving to Spence's right or left?
Danny Garcia is fighting more on the back foot right now, and I'm in the second round right now. In the first round, it was a fill-out round. Neither one of them really done too much. This round, they getting a little bit more a little bit more contact with each other, but he moving more to the left and he's staying on the back foot.
Okay, that's a mistake, and that's a mistake he made. But I think as the fight advances, you're going to see him start moving to the right. Watch and see. Just look for that. You'll see I remember that. He started moving to Spence's right, and he started having a little bit more success.
Yeah, we just had a move to the right where both of them, they both hit each other. When they moved to the right, they both scored. He threw a punch, and both of them hit each other. He came back, went left, right. Okay, now he going more back foot. Okay.
I'd say that this is my belief. Earl Spence he wins these fights off of punishing the opponent and a high work rate, but he don't know how to knock a man out. When it happens, it just happens. But he don't know how to break a motherfucker down, set him up with that big shot that's gonna stop a guy. He's not that type of fighter. He's not a Crawford. He's not a Tank. He's not that type of guy.
Right. You think his knockout should come because it just came? It just happened. When it happened, it just happened.
Yeah, and that's not bad. I mean, that's the definition of an accumulation of punishment. That's not bad. It's just that I don't know how. Okay, when I plug in an accumulation of punishment, I just don't see a reality where Crawford's sitting here, where he's against the ropes, getting pounded out, and he's going with the plan of Earl Spence. I don't. That's not the Crawford I know. The Crawford I know is very athletic, very energetic, very mobile, very fast, very deadly with his sniping type of punch, and he has counter punching ability. Now, is he going to be able to knock Earl Spence out? But I don't know that because Terrence Crawford is sort of a boxer puncher that can get you through accumulation of punishment as well. So he got two versions of himself where I can see he may hit Crawford. I mean, he may hit Spence, and Spence might touch the canvas, or he just may turn his head around and eventually get to him. I'm not sure because Terrence Crawford got a couple of ways he can dissect you and break you down.
Yeah. Hey, salute to you, Zone 6. Yeah, man, I was going to back you up on that. Like, another thing, too, is that Crawford don't have to be planted when he throws the punch to throw off the move, you know what I mean? Hence, you saw the Kavalaskis fight, how he was able to get him out of there with the looping left hand and the feint uppercut that he did. You know what I mean? I think for Spence, though, man, I just think Spence just don't have – Derrick should just tell him, man, he going to have to touch Crawford any way he can, arms, chest, torso, whatever, to make Crawford like second guess what he's doing. But and another key thing I think is straight punches versus looping punches as well. So it's a very intriguing fight to me, a 50-50 matchup.
And
I mean,
Spence is coming off a much longer layoff when you compare the two. He hasn't
right.
fought in over a year. I think Crawford fought back in December.
I mean,
And that's
Spence, the way that he, I'm sorry, go ahead, Zone Six.
no, that was like that's smart. That's all. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, Spence has a very sneaky uppercut. That's what I felt broke Ugas's orbital bone, and he has a great looping right hand that he throws, but it's not an overhand right, which you guys see Crawford get hit leaning back with all the time. But those are his, from what I can see, those are his power punches. That looping right hand he throws, and that sneaky left uppercut, he can hide that shit very well. Like when he hit Sean Porter, he hit him with a right hook, but he hid it. He hid it by framing with his guard, and Sean never saw the punch coming, and the shit floored him. But that whole fight, Sean Porter had that man in retreat, and
Yeah.
he hit a shot and caught him with a good
To back you up, Kush, I think the reason why Sean really didn't affect him too much with his punches, I think Sean really smothered his work a lot. He wasn't able to like get that separation that he needed, and I think that's the difference between with him and Crawford. I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford try to like push Spence back and make Spence do something that he not comfortable with.
right. That's exactly what I see. I see Crawford, who was a very accurate puncher, going to Spence's body because Spence likes to shell up and let you get your shit off before he comes back with his own. That's going to be one of the glaring weaknesses that I see from his other fights. He will defend himself, but Crawford goes to the body, just like Spence goes to the body.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
facts. Yeah, and I just remember I think Tony was the one said about the work rate, which that is another X factor too, man. Like I want to see how Crawford handles that work rate, but also though shit we know that sharp counter punching can slow a work rate down and also can make a motherfucker think. And I was watching the Ugas fight just yesterday, man, and I saw whenever I think it might have been I think the eighth round where Spence was getting real comfortable and he was starting to pound on Ugas, and Ugas started catching him with some shit. I think he caught him with a straight right that caught Spence's attention, and that's because Spence has an issue with always leaning to the left side and squaring his feet up, and Ugas was able to catch him. But nonetheless, he still was able to get Ugas out there because he just banged him up a little bit too much.
I do believe that if that fight carried on, that Spence most likely would have stopped Ugas, but I don't believe that it would have been the type of stoppage that people wanted from Earl Spence. It would have been a body shot stoppage or something. They said that the man's ribs was broke.
Yeah,
He would have stopped him to the body, most likely, because he was pouring it on at that point, and Ugas was throwing no punches and taking
yeah.
every. I seen
I
him get
think
hit
Crawford is
about
might have a lot.
6 or 7. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Yarla.
Oh no, go ahead, finish.
No, I'm just saying. Spence was he caught him with 6 or 7 of those uppercuts, and Ugas never saw him coming. And that type of high guard that he used, it wasn't. He couldn't block that shit.
I think Crawford is gonna have the advantage in speed in terms of foot and hand speed, and he may have a lot of success early on as a result of that. Because
That's a good
that's going to
point.
be something very difficult for Spence to adjust to. Him being so flat-footed and all of that too.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Hey, so listen, we'll hit like 2 hours. I try to keep it clean and short. You guys been excellent, man. Welcome back, Fox. Hey, man, I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna
Peace.
snake it again. Buckle, Fox, Kush, and then I'm gonna let Blood close it out. Tell everybody where they can find you, man, and your closing statements, and speak your piece and say what you got to say. You got the floor. Buckle up.
No doubt, y'all already know where to find me. Buckle up, boxing talk. Hit me up. I'm a probably drop something. Put something new out probably tonight or maybe tomorrow morning for the weekend. But other than that, it was another good one. It was a pleasure talking with everybody on here again today. So make sure all y'all whatever y'all do, have a safe day, be safe out there, whatever y'all do. And I see y'all when we get back on the next one.
Salute.
All right. All right. Go ahead, Fox. Welcome back, man. Let us know what's going on, Fox.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good to be back. Kind of rusty on the boxing still because I stopped watching boxing for some time during the years, but it's good to see that the sport is building back up, more undisputed fights happening than back in the 2010s where we kept questioning when these guys are gonna fight and unify and everything. But you can find me at my new channel here, Your Night. Sometimes I talk boxing, sometimes I talk other things. Bless up.
Hey, man. Good to see you, Fox.
Yes, sir, man. We miss you, man. I'm glad to have you back, man. Appreciate that. Hey,
likewise.
You guys need to sub to Fox. Sub to him, man. He be having some real good intellectual common sense. Some of that island good conversation, man. He's solid. Appreciate you for being back, man. All right. Kush, man, what you got, big dog? It's on you, man. Good way to come in, man. You came in hot, man. You was cooking. What you got on it?
I love to chop it up about this boxing stuff, but I do have a channel. Y'all can find me at the Breakdown with Kush the Great. I got breakdowns on both fighters that point out with Earl Spence how he uses frame and hide them shots, all them type of things. Go to the body. I got one on Crawford. Definitely go check them out, y'all. And I appreciate you having me, Zone 6. OG, you already know it's good talking to you every time.
All right, man. Yes, sir. Kush, you was doing your thing, boy. I like his perspective.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's been around for a while, man.
Yeah, he pretty well spoken. Ain't nobody like Tony, boy. Tony come in with the nice delivery and the commanding voice. Go ahead, Tony, man. Take us away, man. Tell them
Yeah, I just I won't plug my channel. I just appreciate you letting me on. This your place, your home, and I'm just a guest, so I appreciate you letting me on the platform to talk boxing. Like we all.
Play the channel, man.
I don't do that.
I'll do it for you. I'll do it for Tony Reviews.
No, we don't need to do that. It's cool.
Okay. All right.
I don't want the limelight shined on me. I just want to stay in the shade for a moment. But I appreciate you letting me on. Good talking to you, blood. It's been a long time, and y'all have a good day.
Yes, sir, man.
All right, you too, Tony. Be safe. Blood, OG, close us out.
Man, you had some real boxing knowledge on your panel today, man. Yeah, Tony Reviews, Kush the Great, Fox came back, man. We had a lot of people on here, man. Shout out to all those brothers who came through on the panel, man. Zone, I hope you ready at 6 o'clock, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Because
man, you just got a little simple, man.
It's gonna be a tough one, bro.
No, it ain't. It's gonna be a tough one because you want it to be a tough one. It ain't gonna be a tough one. Not with Rocky Marciano versus Jack Johnson. If you done your research, you already know better. You just keeping it.
You should win it. You should win it, but we'll see.
I should win it because Jack Johnson better, and I should win it because I'm better than Smoke, and I'm gonna deliver the information. That's why. So we'll see, but it's up to the judges, and I trust you guys' judgment. And this is just mini to calm to show people how it should go. Me and Smoke are friends. We're not cussing each other out. We got qualified judges. This is really not about me. Of course, I'm gonna talk shit to make it interesting because we don't want it to be just boring, right? But this is really about showing people how to get knowledgeable judges. Your guys' integrity is going to be on the map, and people need to feel comfortable on how these judges move so you can get an understanding on how it goes. And me and him are going to combat each other, and we're gonna be friends, and we're gonna be cool. We're not gonna cuss each other out and whine and bench and moan. If he wins, I'm gonna concede. If he loses, he gonna concede. How it's supposed to go, and we're gonna open it up for everybody in the community. So that's what it's about.
All right, man.
Tony, yes, I got Jack Johnson, and Get the Smoke has Rocky Marciano. All right, so Judge,
it's an interesting comparison, bro. You're talking about two different eras, but it's all good.
Well, it ain't that far off, bro. No. It ain't that. Oh, buddy, it ain't that far off.
It's still a few decades off. It's still a few decades off.
Yeah, but it's still in the lineage. It's still in that. Go ahead.
Especially if you consider when Jack Johnson started. It is a different era.
Yeah,
That's okay, though. We'll see what you got and how you explain all this shit.
Right. So, one of the judges of Blood Boxing, Boxingologist, Wayne Talk, Phil Walker, Brian Clark. The moderator is Raul Jenkins. Me, I got Jack Johnson. Get the Smoke, got Rocky Marciano. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. Today on my channel. I've always traveled abroad. Everybody else's channels. We're going to do it on this channel with competent and unbiased judges that are historical in nature and that has credit across the community.
Peace to you, Zone.
All right, Blood. All right.
Give me 5 people you ready to fight right now.
All right. We finna go ahead and get up out of here, y'all. We're gonna ride this thing out. Good show. A lot of good guys on here spitting that knowledge, spitting that truth. And we're gonna go ahead and ride this on out, man. Any questions, comments? Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up if you like the content, you like the video. Tune into the debate. Hopefully we can entertain you guys tonight. Hopefully you guys are available for the debate tonight. Hopefully we can get you through your work shift or your work day or a family picnic or get it done right before the game. So plug this in right before the game. This will give you something to do on the calendar. And y'all stay safe and y'all be safe, man. It's your boy Zone 6, the future undisputed champion of this shit. And I'm out.
So you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, Boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Box.